this far, they hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Merryweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this, go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger. Hey, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash and the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play safe. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger.
What up, yo? Whoa. Let me change it up, man. Oh, salute everybody in the building, man. What's goody, what's goody, what's goody, what's goody? What's really good? Salute. A lot to talk about. Great weekend of boxing. Great weekend of boxing, man. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to really not enjoy the boxing. So you know, I remember I used to watch battle rap, and shout out to Tay Rock used to always say, man, light work, right? And then somebody one day screamed out into the crowd and said, everything can't be light, man. everything can't be light, man. And I shout out to, I guess I'm translating that into this conversation to say, you know, can every weekend of boxing be great boxing? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just so much of a boxing pundit that yeah, man, I just enjoy every weekend of boxing that I watch, man. And this weekend delivered, man, a great weekend of boxing, man. Great stories, great needle moving fights happening in the space. Deontay Wilder, congratulations to Deontay Wilder on his victory against Derek Chisora. We got to talk about that, obviously. I know a lot of spaces already talked about it, but has it really been spoken about until ATP talks about it, right? Let's be honest. So we got to talk about that, right? What we really saw in the performance, trying, of course, to be respectful to Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora and all boxers, right? To first things first, congratulate them on the fight coming through. Deontay Wilder showed grit. Derek Chisora showed grit. Both guys, you know, fought each other with everything they had. Shout out to Deontay Wilder for working on some things. We saw him being a little bit more patient behind his jab and trying to set some shots up. Derek Chisora on his 50th fight on his way out of boxing, that farewell fight. Congratulations to him in front of his own home, a homecoming where the whole building was screaming the whole night, Derek Chisora, something like that, right? And, you know, that's the way you want to go out, man. You know, he didn't get the victory, but he did get the respect, right, from the community, from his community specifically. So shout out to Derek Chisora, shout out to Deontay Wilder, who seemed to be the most important person in the room. That was very pleased with his performance, and that's what counts at the end of the day, is that he saw something in himself. He seems like he's got a whole new love and passion for the sport again. And that's part of the game, right? When we talk about, the game being a 70, 80, 20, 30 ratio, right? 70 to 30, 80 to 20 ratio as far as mental health versus physical health is concerned. Deontay Wilder's always looked physically ready to do what he has to do inside of the ring. It's always been a mental thing with him. Where is he at mentally? And it looks like he was pleased, and he seems more motivated than ever to go into this second chapter, this next gear in his career. And he wants to clear out the entire division. He wants to fight whoever. He feels like he's ready. He's no longer being selfless. He's being selfish, and he's doing it for all the right reasons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about that, what that really means, what that looks like. Is Deontay here for the legacy or for the payday? Those are two different topics, unfortunately. And one, there's opportunity for Deontay Wilder in both of those conversations. He has the legacy there in front of him. If he wants to make a run back at it again, I'm sure he won't have a hard time making some very difficult fights, some needle moving fights that'll push him in the direction of getting sanctioned embodied belts and, pursuing that mission of unifying and becoming undisputed or whatever have you. But there's also another lane for Deontay Wilder for him to chase that money, for him to get to that bag. There's a lane there for him to be part of some of the biggest fights possible. We'll talk about what's more than likely we're going to be anticipating seeing from Deontay Wilder, right? Caroline Dubois fights Terry Harper, unifies, dominates, in my opinion, that fight. Terry Harper did show some light in the second half of that fight, started to turn up a little bit after she was knocked down. Obviously had some urgency in the way she was fighting. And more importantly, I guess at the end of the day, Caroline Dubois walks away with that victory. Now has a common opponent with ALYCIA Baumgardner. ALYCIA Baumgardner stopped Terry Harper, though, right? If we're using triangle theory strategies at approaching a conversation about what we're expecting to happen in that fight, that might, maybe there's some leverage or some leaning towards what ALYCIA Baumgardner would do against Caroline Dubois. Keeping in mind that these ladies aren't in the same weight class, right? I believe ALYCIA Baumgardner is competing at 130 pounds, Caroline at 135. So obviously there's going to be some pushback at the idea of, is Caroline Dubois looking at what's in front of her, or is she focused on what some people might argue behind her, right? I think Caroline Dubois and ALYCIA Baumgardner, that fight is a classic waiting to happen. We all want to see, but is it the right time for that fight? Should that fight happen next, or should Caroline Dubois continue adding on to her resume, pursuing what she can accomplish in her division, and of course allow ALYCIA Baumgardner the space to do what she does in her division, allow her to naturally move up to 135 pounds after she's done everything she wants to do at 130, and then maybe that's the moment the fight should happen? Or should it happen right now? As boxing fans, we get very selfish. We want what we want, and we want when we want. We want what we want when we want it, right? So we'll talk about that as well, and what's in front of both of those ladies as well. On that same card, a very fiery fight between what's her name again? Oh my goodness. Let me not mess up any names right now, bro. But we'll talk about the undercard of the Caroline Dubois card as well. Some great fights on the undercard of the Derek Chisora, Deontay Wilder card as well. And of course, we'll talk about Zuffa as well, right? Zuffa puts on one of their best cards. I think the best card up to date was this past Zuffa card. Knockout of the year candidate on that card, as well as some good fights, upsets on the card. Shout out to our brother Robert Merryweather III. King Robert Merryweather had an upset loss, but a very competitive fight. Still won fight of the night, I believe. Got bonus money for it and everything like that. Delivered on that. Showed the grit. Showed the skill set, showed the tenacity, right? He probably could have fought that fight way more safer, won it on points, but he chose to try to deliver to the fans something exciting. Unfortunately, he ended up on the wrong side of a victory on that one. We'll talk about what's potentially next for him. We'll talk about all those fights that happened on that card as well. Andreas Cortez wins a fight that I scored as a close fight between him and Erickson Garcia, but most people, including most of the people here in the building that were watching the fight, didn't see it that way. And even people in the building who are watching the fight didn't see it that way as well. They felt there was a wider margin. But regardless, Andreas Cortez walks away with a victory on the same card as Mark Magsayo. And we know that division. We know that division is a lit division, to say the least, right? And we're looking for the big fights to happen in that division, as far as where Rayo Venezuela's at and when De Los Santos is in that division, right? We're looking to see all these guys mix it up. So we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff in boxing. Also, fight announcements being made yesterday between we got Abdullah Mason getting ready to defend his WBO title in his homecoming against Joe Cordina, up and coming 135-pounder, used to be a champion at 130 pounds. We know about the loss he took against Anthony Cacace, right? We understand that, but a lot of people are pushing back at it, saying, oh, who's Joe Cordina? I think this is a great fight for Abdullah Mason. Perfect fight. If you guys watch this channel, you know I was talking about how I wanted to see Abdullah Mason fight against Giovanni Cabrera. That fight that was set up at one point in time. Giovanni Cabrera caught an injury, couldn't make that fight happen. I felt like Abdullah missed out on some quality rounds with a good boxer in Giovanni Cabrera. I think Joe Cordina could kind of check the boxes in that area for Abdullah Mason, give him that different look. His last fight against Sam Noakes, we know, was a very competitive fight. Abdullah Mason got hit a lot in that fight as well. That appetite for smoke. You know, a fighter like Joe Cordina may slow down that fight enough to force Abdullah Mason to get into some different things inside of his bag, some different tools, different wrinkles in his game. He needs those looks as he's starting to elevate as a champion. His competition is not going to go down. It's going to go up. So we need to see Abdullah Mason 100% develop the proper way. I think Joe Cordina is the perfect fight for his next fight, and a homecoming in Ohio. You can't write that out better. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of support from Ohio when he puts that event together. Also, Keyshawn Davis versus Nahir Albright gets announced. Part 2, right? This is going to be a rematch. The last fight, if you guys remember, Keyshawn Davis did win a very close decision, but more importantly, it turned into a non-contest because Keyshawn Davis popped on some marijuana, which is another conversation. I don't understand why they wouldn't have made that a no contest, as if he took a performance enhancement drug. It is what it is. But a lot of people are pushing back at that fight now, right? They're saying Keyshawn is cherry picking. Where did Nahir Albright come from? He's not, you know, we want to see you fight the bigger fights. I would argue, no, this is a perfect fight for Keyshawn Davis. The one questionable fight he has on his resume, the one fight, you combine that with the storyline. This is going to be in Norfolk, Virginia, right? Another homecoming for Keyshawn Davis, where Nahir Albright beat Keyshawn Davis's brother, right? He beat Kelvin Davis. This is an opportunity for Keyshawn Davis to get his revenge for his brother, as well as straighten out the confusion as far as whatever may have happened between Nahir Albright and Keyshawn Davis inside of the ring and in the back in the locker room, right, when they had their situation. So I think this fight checks the boxes, keeps him busy. Activity is key in the boxing space. And we also got to remember, guys, these fighters aren't in Zuffa. They're not in a league where fights are ordered, right? They have to make fights. So I think sometimes people lose a little bit of touch of reality behind the actual power that these fighters have to make fights. They can try, they can call out fighters, they can get into the antics, they can stir up the space and make the space want the fight, but how much power do these fighters actually have to make the biggest fights? I think it's a great fight for Keyshawn Davis. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And of course, it's his fight week as well, right? We got a bunch of fights as well to talk about, but you know, we won't do none of that until we first shout out to everybody who's in the building. Of course, bring up the co-host. Shout out to Sam from Jersey in the building. Said, let's get it. ATB Combat Media. Salute to you, fam. SOBTV 52 in the building. Says, salute Claymore and Reyes. Blessings. Salute to you, man. Bones 13-8-17 in the building. Salute to you. Akeem Blake in the building. Says, peace to the gods on earth, guidance and blessings to Clay and Angel, plus everyone in the chat. No doubt, man. GG Champ in the building says, no backhand shit, Clay. Let the man work, dog. You are too emotional. Who? Let who work? Who work? Talk to me, GG Champ. Who I gotta let work? Chan 0889 in the building says, yo, what's up, big man? Salute to you, Chan. Salute to you, Chan, man. Mac Majestic in the building with the salutes. Mr. Van Houder, father of Damazian Van Houder in the building. Says, hit the like button, go in the chat, man. JR Spock in the building says, so we're going to cuddle. We're going back to coddling Mason. Come on, he's ready for other champions. Yeah, he's ready, but look, we'll talk about it, JR. We'll talk about it, man. We got to get a guy an opportunity to build his fan base up as well, to have a homecoming. When you're talking about unifications and things of that nature, JR, you know what that is, bro. He's not pulling nobody in Ohio. Is Raymond Moritai about to come to Ohio and fight Abdullah Mason in Ohio? Is Tank Davis about to come to Ohio and fight him? Is Shakur about to go to Ohio and fight him? Is are any of these champions? Of course they're not, right? Because no matter how much of a champion he is, he's still the B-side to 9 out of 10 conversations that we're putting him in right now as far as the big fights being made. Does Abdullah Mason deserve an opportunity after a hard 12-round, his first 12-round fight, becoming the youngest champion in the space? Does he deserve an opportunity to have a homecoming, to have a title defense, and coming off of a very tough, hard-fought fight against Sam Noakes? We know how the game is, man. Of course he deserves an opportunity to do that, bro. You know what I mean? Of course he does. Let me see. JR says, I like the fight. All right. Deserves a little something. No doubt, man. Kyle Pano in the building says, what's up, Clay? Salute to you. Miss Van Hotter in the building. Salute. Salute. What's good with you? Virgil Wimberly in the building said, what's good, Clay Moore? Master Bait in the building says, we'll never get the Joshua versus Wilder fight. Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about it. You never know. We got to see. You don't know. You don't know. We don't, like my brother Angelo says, we don't know what we don't know. Can't just be, don't be so cynical. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. All right, man. So salute to everybody in the building. Let's get right to it, man. Add my brother in, Angelo Reyes in the building. Angelo with the new background. What's good, Jello?
You know what? After our almost 11-hour live on Sunday, we want to thank all. What was it, like 7,000 people? It was crazy. Man. It was crazy.
700. I wish it was 7,000.
No. I'm talking total though, with the replays and the playback and everything. So shout out to all of you guys, because the last time I checked, it was like 5,000 on the YouTube and several more on the Facebook. But we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for 10 hours, 10, 11 hours. We did the post-fight conferences also. But yeah, man, it just goes to show you, like what you started with your monologue, Clay, that boxing's been great every weekend, man. And I'm sorry, y'all. Like, maybe we just sound like we love it a little too much, but
I don't think we sound like it. I think we do. I think we like the sport. We find, you know what I mean? We find some entertainment in the sweet science with just two fighters in the ring, putting it all out there for our entertainment, right? For obviously for their legacy in their pockets as well, but still there's just something about it, right? And boxing always holds that spot in any real pugilist or pundit's, heart. Watching it, just like it's just different from any other sport. You know what I'm saying? Just one-on-one. And just especially at the highest level, it becomes the story and the whole build up into the fight, the press conferences, all these different things. Like, we don't watch the Dallas Cowboys and you know what I'm saying, the Pittsburgh Steelers have press conferences and challenge each other. I'm coming for you. And you know what I mean? And arguing, and the stories being built up. Boxing, just combat sports in general, checks that box that no other sport really does for us, right?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, and that's the interesting thing, right? Like, all the other sports, they get a lot of play. Part of the reason why all the other sports have been getting so much consistent love from their own fan bases, right? And casual sports fans is it's the free to access component. The free to access component really helps. And I think that in 2026 is the first time where, as an entire global community, we felt free to access components. Netflix, Paramount, right? Like, it's like even Tubi kind of started early. Like, okay, there's some Tubi fights. Cool. All right. Pro Box. All right. Cool. And it's getting away more and more from the pay-per-view model, which, first hot question for me actually is, what did you think about the fact that all reports are saying Fundora Thurman only did 38,000 pay-per-view buys, bro?
Well, I told you that, didn't I? We talked about it when you asked me. Didn't I tell you what I thought it was gonna be? Didn't I?
Yes, you did.
You asked me what I think. What I'm thinking is, I told you. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I told you it was gonna be under 50,000, right? I said it was gonna be under 50,000 pay-per-view sales. And you know, that whole, and that's another conversation I forgot to bring up. We're going to have today as far as this whole Devin Haney, Romero situation. You know, rumors are circulating right now that Manny Pacquiao may be in negotiations with Devin Haney potentially for a fight now. We don't know. You know, obviously on the back end of this Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, messy situation, I'm assuming that's like a, if that fight doesn't happen, we're going to do this instead type of situation. So we got to see what ends up happening. But also the pay model and the whole strategy of approaching things with the PBC, it just seems like it's causing issues over and over again when it comes down to making the big fights, right? Making the fights that are big. I'm sure they can make a lot of those other fights. They can make it make sense. But the pay-per-view back end, paying back end money, whatever that is, no upfront guarantee money or low upfront guarantee money for maybe back end money that doesn't get paid immediately after the fight. From what I understand, you know, maybe months can pass by, a whole year can pass by, and you don't get your full payday or full access to what the numbers are. It gets complicated. So I think that's what's showing up in a lot of conversations when it comes to PBC fighters right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, now my colleague here, our host, Claymore Rain, he always has a slate. I don't want to go too off format from his slate, you know, when we're doing our Pardon the Interruption style ATP Combat Media sports show. So you tell me, what's number one on the slate? Because there is so much going on. What's the first thing you want to go back and forth with?
Well, I mean, let's get right to it and talk about Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder. I'll speak right to the elephant in the room before we go any further. And like I said, because I know this conversation is going to have some reality in it. So before we get even deeper into it, because there's a good chance people are going to walk away after this conversation and say, damn, why they hating on Deontay? Right? So I don't want first things first, right? First things first. Congratulations to Deontay Wilder on his victory against Derek Chisora, right? Congratulations, Derek Chisora, on 50 fights on his 50th fight. Congratulations on that beautiful farewell. UK does it like no other space when it comes to celebrating their fighters. Derek Chisora, who has a record that is not a super winning record, right? Like it's a you know, he has like over 14 losses, over 13 losses at this point, including the Deontay Wilder loss. But, you know, the UK fan base really knows how to celebrate the fighters who put it all on the line for them, for their entertainment, right? Win, lose, or draw. So shout out to that event. It looked like it was a pretty electrifying event. A lot of people showed up in the building, as I expect they would in the UK. You know what I'm saying?
20,000, K. 20,000, Clay.
Right.
20,000 sold out, O2 Arena. Oh, Derek.
I would expect nothing less, right? Derek. I mean, would we expect any less, right? That's what they do, right? And that's why we love the UK boxing space, and we have a certain love for them that's different than other spaces, because we find one thing about a UK boxing event, when we're watching it, it always makes you feel like you want to be there. Like when you see it, you're always like, damn, I wish I could be there. That's just a whole different element that they bring to the space that I wish the American boxing space would try to match and bring to our boxers that we supposed to be celebrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the closest thing I want to explain to you guys, and again, shout out to everybody who's on the chat, shout out to everybody who's listening to us live. Please hit the like buttons. It's always our goal to get to 100 likes on each live. It really helps us out, helps out the algorithm. Shout out to all of our subscribers, man. I think we might hit that 4K before the month's over. So that's looking nice. Just fastest growing YouTube combat sports channel right now. So but I was gonna say to all of our American listeners in the US, UK boxing is comparable to college football and college basketball, because you know how the kids, they do their little like chants and cheers, and they got their dances, and it's all synchronized, right? And everything, right? So it's the same thing in with the UK fan base. They have like a synchronized song when Caroline Dubois comes out, when Derek Chisora comes out, right? You know, just it's fun, Clay. It's fun. And we actually experienced that early when Ricky Hatton was coming here. Remember the British invasion? Right. And then Ricky Hatton would come, and then they had their own band, You know, there's only one ring ahead.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, man. Yeah, we want to see that more and more and more. As far as the fight goes, I don't know if you've finally seen the clip. I sent it to you. Shout out to everybody who was with me on the live when I was making this reference. WrestleMania 24, Clay, is when it happened. Shawn Michaels and what supposedly was supposed to be the final fight of Ric Flair. And then Shawn Michaels does the whole, I'm sorry, I love you, and then kicks him and then pins him, right? So if you guys go to your DAZN or if you go to your DAZN YouTube and watch the short film they just made on Wilder Chisora, Claymore, man, the wildest scene on that is it shows like in a close-up camera, like movie style. It shows Wilder looking at Chisora saying, I love you. And then Chisora on a close-up looking back at him going, I love you too. And then bam, then Wilder hit him and knocked him out.
Right hand knocked him down.
Bro. Oh, man.
So, like I said, congratulations to those guys for sharing a moment in the ring, being so respectful on the build up to making that fight happen, and you know, and putting it all out there. I feel like they did what they could. They gave everything they had, and you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Derek Short got up every time, got knocked through the ropes, got back up. You know, there was some weird things that happened in the fight. You know, there was one point where the corner came into the ring, and no points were taken for that. But I think that fight was beyond like the regular. It was almost an exhibition to a certain degree. And we weren't going to stop that fight from continuing no matter what, right? It was like, yo, get out the ring. We're going to just take the extra step to give more leeway in the spirit of the fight continuing for this packed out 20,000 plus people arena event with a bunch of drunk Brits in the building. We ain't trying to stop this fight, right? We're not trying to get, we're going to be aware of that situation. But that being said, let's speak on the fight itself and what it means for Deontay Wilder on the back end of it, what we saw, what we went into. Okay, I guess he had a step. Okay, he's back. What we I don't want to say what we were expecting because that might be a different conversation, but maybe what we needed to see on the back end of Deontay Wilder talking about he's returning, that he wanted to, you know, he's going to clean out the division. Like, you know, he's showing the whole world how motivated he was. What was necessary for us to see from Deontay Wilder is my question, for us to be on board with him, for us to be like, okay, all right, you're part of the conversation. What were you going into this fight being like, all right, well, if Deontay Wilder is going to do everything he says he's going to do, well, I need to see, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, you know, from the coaching standpoint and on the analytical side, and why I did not put the money down, even though common sense always tells you when you get close to plus 1,000, you have to at least put something down, right? But honestly, I'm going to be honest to Deontay here. I did not think you were going to be able to make it the 12 rounds. I really didn't, just because I felt like you're spending a lot of energy pre-fight. And when fighters use up energy like that, I have my doubts. I'm like, man, you're getting a little too pumped up, right? Ronda Rousey famously was like that, then got knocked out by Holly Holm. We can go for example, when you're doing a little too much, right? It's like, are you focused, man? Are you locked in, or are you selling the fight because maybe you need the money? I don't know what's going on here, right? So having said that, the first box he checked, and we have to give him credit for this, Clay, he was in shape, man, because that was a war, an ugly one, a lot of grappling and wrestling, and you know from rolling that it's not like it's easy when you're trying to grapple a 270-pound 100%. Dude and Derek Chisora. I mean, at one point, it almost looked like WWE. They were on the ropes and the whole bit, right? So he had better legs, Deontay Wilder I'm talking about. He had better legs in this fight than we saw him on the Joseph Porter fight and on the Zhilei Zhang fight, and maybe even on the Herndon fight, bro. Like, he looked better. He looked more in shape. So I don't know. Maybe Deontay Wilder with the leggings is a Deontay Wilder we need to see more. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, he looked like he took the fight seriously. He took the fight camp seriously. And he did. The one thing I'll give him, no matter what, is the conditioning. The conditioning was better than I've seen him had in a long time. But still, once again, all in comparison to what, right? All in.
Well, I know.
We're judging him. Are we speaking on since the last time we saw him and for that situation he was in? But what does that translate into? To his peers that are in the space right now. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, and I'm big on Deontay Wilder. So the first check mark is at 40 years old, can the man do a 12-round championship style pace? And I think he answered that question. Yes, he can. Can he do it, Clay? Yes, he can. All right.
According to Sunday's performance, yes. Saturday.
Yes. Hey, we can only go off of what we see, bro.
Facts.
We're a fact-based show. We're not an opinion-based show.
It is what it is.
We saw what we saw, baby. All right. Secondly, in the back half, I didn't think it was possible for a 40-year-old to get a second win. But let me tell you something. You know how you always mess with me about how, man, Deontay ain't got a good jab. His jab looked pretty good from round 6 on to the late. I mean, he popped Chisora with some jabs, bro. That was like, damn, where's that been? That looked pretty good. Like, wow, like shotgun style. I was very impressed with that, right? Very impressed. Anything to say about the jab or the second win? Do you agree, sir? Do you concur?
I feel comparing it to him and what he's done in the past, it was more active. He had a more active lead hand than I'm used to seeing him as of late. So, an adjustment that I will acknowledge I saw.
All right. Very good. Very, very good. Very good. Also, right, the more I watch the cinema version, which I think you guys will all enjoy because it shows Anthony Joshua on the side, it shows Eddie Hearn. Like, it feels like watching a movie. So you guys should really check it out. It's on the Zone if you have the subscription app, or if you have if it might be on YouTube already, but it's their little cinematic version of what happened on the fight Sunday. I have to believe Wilder when he's saying that he actually took it easy on Chisora because he felt like, because remember, he went through that whole, man, we could die in here. He's crying on a press conference on the fight like years ago. And, so he's a different man, right? So the whole I love you back. They're good friends. And, this was the retirement fight for Chisora. It really did give me a Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair type of a feel. And Deontay being so conditioned that he feels like he could control the outcome of the fight. I haven't seen a Deontay like that in years.
So do you feel like Deontay was potentially carrying the fight? Is that what you're trying to say?
I kind of feel like it felt like he could have put the fight away a lot earlier. And he didn't. Right? So he chose to maybe part of the reason why he chose to not send the right hand as hard as he wanted to is because at the end, remember how it was swollen? So we're going to see if it's still swollen. Is it broken? He said it's fractured, but come on, Deontay, with your crazy statements, we're not going to follow your medical advice anytime soon. I know how things happen. So we're going to find out what the doctors say. Chisora thinks he broke Deontay's ribs, so we'll find out about that too. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, that it just feel at least on a mental standpoint, it felt like, when heavyweights are at their peak or just boxers are at their peak period, there's a certain feel of control. I remember Manny used to do that where he literally could almost predict which round he was going to put it on someone. Roy Jones, used to do that all the time. Floyd would oftentimes be like, I think I'm going to carry this dude like these rounds, and I'm going to try to go for the finish on these rounds like he did with Conor McGregor, right? Classic example, the Conor McGregor fight. So, like I said, I felt that. So, you don't agree? You think you really think he was stepping on the gas, or do you think he was?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I think he did what he could do. I think there's a limitation on Deontay Wilder based off of a lack of just getting those fundamentals down. I think this space has been coddling Deontay Wilder for years because of that right hand, and never absolutely putting the pressure on him or acknowledging the fact that he was losing a lot of these fights he won until he won them. You know what I'm saying? That he's never been the kind of guy to sit there and be taking rounds and taking decisions that's why they had that rematch with Bermane Stiverne, because it was controversial. Some people felt like Bermane won the fight. You feel me?
Fair.
And he did what we expected him to do in the next fight, which was what he normally does, which is he knocked him the F out, right? So I'm not necessarily drinking from the cup of, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on the idea that this guy was carrying Derek Chisora. Not at all. I think Derek Chisora was applying relentless pressure. He was smothering a lot of the work that Deontay was trying to do. I think if Deontay had the room, he would have delivered what people are used to seeing him to deliver. And I think that fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder exposed some things about Deontay Wilder to the whole boxing space. Very similar to kind of how like Mike Tyson towards the end of his career seemed like certain things got exposed about his career as well, where, at least in that chapter in that season he was in, people started to realize, oh, this guy's very beatable. This is not as difficult as people think it is. He's not the apex predator that he was, at 18, 21 years old, whatever he was doing then ain't what he was in his 30s. So with Deontay Wilder, I'm not drinking from the Kool-Aid that he carried nobody, that he felt sorry, or that he didn't. Nah, bro. I think he was just dealing with the same problem Alexander Usyk was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That the same problem a lot of fighters were dealing with when they get in the ring with him is that it's messy, it's difficult, and you got to have a certain pedigree about you to deal with that, or, certain attributes about you that stylistically match you up well against a Derek Chisora and gives you an opportunity to do what Alexander Usyk did or Tyson Fury did, right? Those fighters who were able to be like, nah, bro, I'm a certain pedigree higher than you. I have a way better jab. I know how to control the distance. I know how to control that range. I know how to deliver the shot. I know how to beat you. Deontay has no real pedigree about him. What he had, and I say that past tense, was a lethal right hand that I did not see in this fight. And that's going into this fight. I didn't want to see pedigree. I didn't care about the pedigree. I didn't care about the footwork. I cared about the jab a little bit, but only in reference to it setting up the equalizer. And I didn't see the equalizer. He was slapping with the right hand. He was chopping with the right hand. He wasn't turning it over, shooting it straight. He wasn't delivering the Deontay Wilder that we've seen years ago. And that's what I needed to see in order to make him a relevant part of the heavyweight division conversation. And I didn't see it, Angelo. I'm sorry.
All right. Now I realize my colleague, ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of just stating facts, is not willing to drink the Deontay Wilder Kool-Aid. But can I get him to take a sip?
I'm a water fan. I'm a water fan, Angelo. Personally,
because what I will say is, and again, you know how when we're doing this, I like to just state facts, right? Fact of the matter is, though, if you look at Deontay Wilder's entire career up until Sunday, he's only really lost to 3 people. He lost to Zhilei,
right,
former world champion who dominated Joe Joyce and questionably lost to Joseph Parker and Filip Hrgović.
Okay.
He lost to Joseph Parker, former world champion, who there's some questionable things that's happened to him too, like the Andy Ruiz fight, as a kind of an example. But we know, and I know you like Joseph Parker, that Joseph Parker still in this peak level. He's not like an old dude. I think he's only like 33 or 34 at this point in his career.
Something
right?
like that, yeah.
So, and he's already got well over 40 fights. So very experienced, former world champion. And quite possibly one of the greatest top 5, top 10 at least, heavyweights of all time, and Tyson Fury. Those are the 3 people he lost to, bro. So when you look at that loss column and you see those losses, actually he only lost to 3. We can still, to this day, talk about the absolute fact that the greatest heavyweight trilogy of this particular era of heavyweight so far has been Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And I don't want our audience or our listeners to think that when you're saying a statement like Tyson Fury exposed Deontay Wilder, similar to like when Mike Tyson got exposed. First of all, right? Was Mike Tyson really exposed, or did he just happen to lose to great fighters like Lennox Lewis? Right?
You're right,
you know
right?
What I mean?
But what do I mean by the exposing? Just to say, like, what do I mean?
Okay.
What I mean
All
is,
right.
if you don't give him space, if you step to him and you're able to close that space up and force him into a close range fight, Deontay Wilder looks like he needs full extension to be as lethal as people want him to be.
Okay.
And if you take that away from him, he doesn't have a way of adjusting. He doesn't adjust well to it.
Very fair. Very fair. And those are, but now you're talking about a strategical way of fighting Deontay.
Right.
But we're not, then that's what I mean is I don't want people to think, well, Deontay's not good enough. Deontay's good enough to beat a lot of heavyweights right now. He's not good enough to beat, I agree with you, like, or it would be, the only chance he would have is the one punch detonator to fight the elite. Like, so when Deontay sits there and says, I'm ready for him. I want, if Moses wants it, like, okay, first of all, Deontay, we trying to get you to live, bro. Like, you don't want none of Moses Itama, man. You just like, there's a lot of people that really don't want Moses Itama. Usyk doesn't even want Moses Itama right now. Whatever Usyk is saying as to the reason why, because Usyk is saying, I don't want to destroy the kid. Maybe that's true, Alexander. You're the pound for pound best fighter in the world, man. I'm not going to hate on you for saying that. Maybe that is true, but the fans gotta want to see it just to see what would happen, right? But Tyson Fury has repeatedly said when they ask him, well, do you think you'd want to fight Moses? He said, are you crazy? Because he trained this kid, he mentored this kid,
he knows what he's dealing with,
kid, and he knows what he's dealing with. So Deontay, man, stop it. All right, don't ask for Moses. Don't ever say his name out your mouth unless you're praying, bro. Like,
what, Angelo?
Moses.
Angelo, let me tell you something. One thing Deontay Wilder's convinced me of is logical ain't necessarily a big criteria of his when he's making his decisions and when he's speaking. He's not necessarily caught up on the reality of the situation. Deontay's all about the silliness of it all. He's all about it. You know how we talk about we getting past the silliness of it all? He's all about living inside that silliness. So one thing's for sure, like he said countless times, everything I say, I mean it. Comes from my heart. And I believe him on that. That being said, what's next for a Deontay? We know what's next for Derek Chisora, playing with his kids, looking for a career in boxing, maybe in commentating or in whatever else.
He's trying to get hired by Zuffa, baby. He's trying to be Zuffa Europe, bro.
Listen, you never know.
Come on, Dana, give me a job.
Yeah. So we don't even got to talk about Derek because we know Derek is good. He's had enough 50 fights. The feeling was great, but he ain't coming back, right? Not for the foreseeable future. Maybe he makes a comeback in a year or two, like Tyson Fury did. I don't expect him to, but for now, we don't even need to talk about what he's doing next. That being said, from what we saw in that performance and what Deontay Wilder has been speaking on, first of all, in your opinion, is Deontay Wilder truly back for the legacy? Is he back for the belts? Does he really believe he can unify, become a champion again? Or is he back for the biggest fights, the biggest paydays? He's here for the spectacle portion of the sport that he believes he can deliver with that right hand. What do you believe he's at? What do you think he's looking to do?
I think with Deontay, and you know this, his state of mind is always very up and down, right? Mm-hmm. I think that there's truly parts of him that looks in the mirror and believes that he could do it. Much like Anthony Joshua believes that he can do it, right? That's why Anthony Joshua is training with Alexander Usyk right now, right? And we just, by the way, guys, like check out our Read the Ring episode 10, because Claymore and I broke this down about how there's the old guard, right? And Deontay Wilder is certainly a part of the old guard. And then we just got this new crop of league players. And, like these are the monsters, man. These are the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders and the Giannis Antetokounmpos and the Luka Doncic's and the Wembanyama's, right? Like we got this nice group of crop that we really don't think the LeBron Jameses should even be messing with, because you're just too old, LeBron. We respect you, but you old, bro. Like, don't mess around with the young bulls anymore, right? But there is parts of him, kind of like LeBron believing he can still win a world title at some point. There's parts of him that does that. Kind of like Anthony Joshua believes it too, which is why he's training with Usyk. And you've even heard Usyk say, after I leave, I'm going to help this guy be undisputed, which for the fans and for the sport of boxing, the heavyweight division moves the needle. And this will be all fun for us, Claymore. This will be great for 100%. Us, man. Yeah.
So that being said, though, so where does Deontay go from here on a practical sense of things, right?
Yeah. On a practical standpoint, as long as he's healthy and Shelly Finkel doesn't get in the way of this, like what has happened in the past,
right?
The automatic, easy, money-making, Netflix, free to the world event is Anthony Joshua, right? Because I will paint the picture for you. I will make it easy for you guys. Shelly, trust me, man, unless Deontay's hurt, this is the easiest story for Netflix to tell. It's the easiest free to access thing to do, right?
Salute to my guy, Robert Merryweather in the building. Robert Merryweather III's father in the building. I'm gonna be reaching out to you probably today because I do want to talk about an interview. And I know, but first of all, salute to you guys. Congratulations on the bonus money. A gritty fight, showed a lot of character for Robert Merryweather III. I know he could have fought that fight in multiple different ways. He didn't have to fight the fight the way he did it. He delivered a super entertaining fight. Quite frankly, probably the most entertaining fight on the card. Shout out to your opponent as well. You know what I'm saying? Tony Hirsch, who showed the world, hey, bro, don't see just because you don't know my name, don't mean I'm not nobody, don't mean I'm not a name. You know what I mean? And a lot of fighters don't get that opportunity. So I believe great foundation. This makes you better. This is an opportunity to elevate, to make adjustments. Most fighters that Robert Merryweather III will fight a year to 2 years to 3 years from now will not have the resume that Robert Merryweather III has. They might maybe somebody will argue they have more names, but they won't have the competition. They won't have the development, and I think that's going to make the biggest difference when it comes into the fights that really count. And they all count, right? But the championships, the real big fights, the legacy fights, these moments are what's going to build the character and really tell the story about who Robert Merryweather III really is, man. So salute to you, man. Appreciate you being in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, I know I had a nice long personal conversation with Coach Rob, and he knows where we stand. All support, all love, because the one thing you can always count on with us here at ATP Combat Media is we're not going to talk down on the fighter. We're always going to build the fighters up, right? And when we get to the Zuffa section of this all, once Claymore's slate gets to it, we're going to talk about King, as I like to call him. We're going to talk about King a little bit more, and Irvin Fuller and the rest of the crew there at Zuffa Boxing, which was Claymore's favorite Zuffa Boxing so far. I'm still on the Zuffa Boxing 4. My favorite's still Zuffa Boxing 4, but maybe because I'm a big Jaya Pattaya guy, and also I was there to watch it live. But for Claymore, his favorite is Zuffa Boxing 5 so far. So good job to the crew. Good job to everybody there. But yeah, the automatic easy story pitch here, Netflix would absolutely sell it. And in fact, I'll even say this, Clay, if they put this together right now at the height of all these cinematic films and Usyk's training with AJ, and AJ's going to be in Egypt to support his mentor Usyk, and there's going to be the storyline, I think that if AJ versus Deontay Wilder happens on Netflix this year, that will surpass Canelo Crawford's numbers. I really do. I think it gets close to 50 million, right?
Oh.
And I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, what does boxing want? When it comes to the heavyweight division, boxing wants an American heavyweight to be in the picture of a big fight, right?
Right.
AJ, we can argue that in that 2012 to 2022, in terms of marketing popularity, AJ is probably the king of it, right? Like, in all honesty, gold medal in 2012, beats Vladimir Klitschko to pass the torch in front of 90,000, right? Like, on and on and on. And as we keep going, like, AJ is super popular. And AJ just fought Jake Paul. And what happened in America, bro? When AJ broke Jake Paul's jaw, all the memes you saw were all women going, "Oh my God, who is this Adonis god, right? Like they kept playing the Usher song, Daddy's Home, right? And they did the whole thing, okay? So you got a super popular AJ. Right now, you got a very popular, whether it's infamous popular, Clay, doesn't matter. He is popular in Deontay Wilder, having the crazy Piers Morgan interview, having that DAZN interview till this day, right? Like that's all pop culture stuff happening, okay? On top of that, man, the tragedy that happened at Anthony Joshua losing his best friends in a traumatic car accident, right? Is he even going to make it back? How good is he going to be? How mental is he going to be? All right. It starts to give you the argument storyline that an Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight at this point could be 50-50. Because we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, there's a story there, without a doubt. That this is a fight that people have been wanting to see for years. That you know, I don't know how many years it was ago, whether it's 10 years ago or somewhere inside that range, that this fight was the fight that the heavyweight division needed. Everybody wanted to see. This was going back to where Deontay Wilder was the last American heavyweight hope, right? He was what everybody looked to be the future of heavyweight boxing in America. And Anthony Joshua building up that following in the UK, it was like the perfect fight, but it never happened. So now it does. There is a story there. There is a certain precedence that the fight does carry some weight of a fight that we didn't see when we wanted to see it, but did the performance by Deontay Wilder, is Anthony Joshua's present moment circumstances lined up perfectly to where these guys can make it in the ring with each other? Because, you know, 2 years ago, it didn't make sense for Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua to fight because Anthony Joshua lost to Joseph Parker, then got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang, right? So it was like, that fight was kind of like the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney situation to a certain degree for that moment in time when Ryan lost to Rolly. He just kind of immediately lost all the practical sense of it. It was like, that doesn't make any sense. Right now, Anthony Joshua is talking about fighting for an IBF title. He's talking about getting back into unifications, you know, fight Daniel Dubois, beat Daniel Dubois, make the big fight happen again. The trilogy with Alexander Usyk. All these fights made way more sense for Anthony Joshua than going seemingly backwards to fight a Deontay Wilder who couldn't even get through a Joseph Parker or a Zhilei Zhang. But now things have changed. He's had this performance with Derek Chisora, but also things have also changed for Anthony Joshua because on another side of the conversation, Tyson Fury, who's come off of 2 consecutive losses off of Alexander Usyk, he's making his return this weekend. And from the UK's point of view, you let me know if I'm crazy, but this fight between him and Tyson Fury may be bigger to the UK fans than Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. What do you think about that?
Oh, no, you absolutely are right about the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua fight, which is, I mean, Eddie keeps saying that it's not agreed on, but come on, bro. Everybody knows it's agreed on because everybody knows it's a turkey bag.
Right.
And it's the biggest fight that can be made. So there is no question, regardless of whether Anthony Joshua loses his next fight or not, that an Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury fight will be made. And in fact, let me say this, because I know you don't want to believe it, because you're not a believer in our Arslanbek Makhmudov, the Russian Ivan Drago, all right? It's extremely possible, because it's the heavyweight division, Claymore, that Makhmudov could win in an upset against Tyson Fury, only because Tyson Fury hasn't fought since December of 2024, bro. That's a long time. That's a long time to be out of boxing, bro.
Well, so just to have Tyson Fury back real quick, how long was he out the ring when he came back and he fought Deontay? You know, Tyson's one of those, you know, special fighters do special things. You know what I mean? It's not that rule, you know, the ring rust rule doesn't apply to everybody. Tyson Fury you can argue, has a track record right now of being the kind of guy that can get out of the for a year, 2 years at a time and come back in rare form. Just pushing back a little just to say, but I agree.
I understand what you're saying, but that's why to me it's such a compelling fight to watch on Netflix. Number one, it's free to access to 300 global subscribers. Number two, I ain't paying no crazy ass $75 Amazon Prime pay-per-view, and it's a great card. I'm seeing 3 heavyweight fights. I'm seeing Conor Benn back against Regis Prograis. I'm all in on it. I'm all in on it. But having said that, my point being, let's say
whenever you
wins.
feel like it, if you want to speak to what Ryan, because I think clearly in America, there's no bigger fight for Anthony Joshua than Deontay Wilder, clearly. But can we put some perspective or some context to the magnitude of a fight that's been years in the UK?
Yeah. And first of all, Ryan Jackson, we hope you subscribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you being on the channel.
Sure.
This is the reason why we have ATP Combat Media, because there's plenty of channels that you guys could go to that will spin whatever narrative it is that they're going to spin. But what you're going to get here at ATP Combat Media is just the truth, man. And the truth of the matter is, boxing, to what everybody already knows, has been getting carried by the UK and outside of the US for a long time now. And the best fighters in the world were really coming out. But more importantly, the most popular fighters in the world were coming from the UK. Just last year, we saw 2 sold out 70,000 events for 2 non-title fights in Chris Eubanks Jr. and Conor Benn, right? So to say that Tyson Fury versus AJ is not popular, again, man, pay attention to the show more.
He's saying it's not bigger than. He's not saying it's not popular.
Yeah,
it's not bigger than, but I would argue it is.
Okay, look, Tyson Fury, who destroyed or beat pretty much, I can say destroyed, even though Deontay fought really hard on those 3 fights, destroyed the only hope of an American heavyweight champion when Tyson Fury did that, right? That in itself, and Tyson Fury singing "Mama, Miss American Pie" and all that good stuff in Vegas, he's already popular in America. Everybody knows who Tyson Fury is. And Tyson Fury, by the way, because you might not know this, Ryan Jackson, because maybe you don't watch pop culture stuff, he has his own reality TV series on Netflix that got renewed for a 2nd season or a 3rd season. He's got a following. So off of that alone, he's popular. Anthony Joshua, brother, are you kidding me? If we're going to argue that Jake Paul is probably the most popular American boxer in the sport today, when we're talking about just straight pop culture, well, Anthony Joshua just broke his jaw and became hella famous to women and people who don't even watch boxing after he did that. This is a man who won a gold medal, who's beaten Klitschko to become the unified champion, who damn near almost became undisputed, who has been this most popular figure on that side of the world, so much so that Under Armour gave him a bag, right? To be kind of like a Roy Jones Nike deal. Okay? We're talking about that, Anthony Joshua. And in 2 weeks' time, with him just breaking Jake Paul's jaw, everyone in America found out about this guy. And you're trying to tell me that in 2026, because that was just in November, that Tyson Fury versus AJ wouldn't be. I'll say this right now, Clay. Tyson Fury versus AJ will break any viewership record, both on television and on attendance, than any event they'll put up this year.
So, but I want to be clear about the question. Is it a bigger fight than AJ versus Deontay Wilder? Is it a bigger, in comparison with those 2 fights in front of each other? What's the bigger fight? And look, the guy who's in the center of this is AJ, right? Because it's not being stated enough how much, he's the one right now who has the opportunity to make money in any direction he wants to go in. One way may make him more money than another way, but I do believe that there is a more significant fight, or is there a more significant fight out of the 2, right? For AJ.
I think they're okay. I understand where you're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just gonna go straight numbers as of right now, and AJ is the one that moves this needle more than anyone else, right? It's almost like there isn't really a B side, but if we're gonna call someone the B side, Tyson Fury is kind of a B side to AJ, and so is Deontay Wilder. But when you put when you put Anthony Joshua as the main ingredient to this pot roast that could be brewing, right? I would say that there'd be more people interested dipping their spoon on the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua pot roast than because really globally, man, a lot of people are going to be onto that. Especially
that's what it's all about
in the U.S. But
that's
right.
The USA boxing market is a market that's niche. right now in the boxing space.
Yes.
In comparison, in comparison to the UK market, which is a literal world level market. And I think people have
a monster, bro.
People haven't wrapped their mind around it correctly. I understand that Deontay Wilder's presence in the American boxing fan presence is going to always support Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. But on a bag level, on a world level, in my personal opinion, I don't think there's even a conversation to be had. I believe Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have a history that we just haven't followed as closely in America. I have. I know.
Yeah, I have too.
That fight is. I know that.
Yeah.
That fight is Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. That fight is Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. That fight is David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez. That fight is on that level and more. This is the fight that the whole world wanted to see. When Tyson Fury came back and fought Deontay Wilder, people were upset. There were people in the UK who was like, what the fuck? We want to see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
Right.
He was the one holding 3 of the belts. Deontay was the cherry pick, Paul. You know what I mean? Respectfully. They were like, why is he fighting that guy? He has a WBC title. He's never even fought world level fighters. He's never even, he's been a domestic. Deontay Wilder at that time was a domestic level heavyweight American champion that would never fight, that his handlers were not putting him in the big fights. They didn't put him in there with Dillian White. They didn't put him in there with Derek Chisora at the time. They didn't put him in there with Povetkin. They didn't put him in there with Joseph Parker. These guys were there, but Deontay was over here fighting like, you know what I'm saying?
You're going to say the name.
Well, Luis Ortiz was legitimately a fight, right? But Chris Arreola, you know what I mean? He was fighting. He was a domestic level fighter.
Go ahead and say your favorite fighter's name, bro. I know you want to say Dominic Brazil, bro. I know you want to say Dominic Brazil.
That's who he fought. That's who he fought. What do you want me to say? That's who he fought. You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, the rest of the world, the heavyweight division for the rest of the world was on a world stage. That fight, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, is a fight the UK would go crazy over. When you're talking about, you think Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois packed out 90,000+ people in an arena, this fight right here would go crazy in the UK.
Yeah.
So I think it's to the point for me where it's like, I don't know if Anthony Joshua, the only way Anthony Joshua takes this fight with Deontay Wilder is if the Tyson Fury fight goes to the wayside for some reason.
Now
that's
my only pushback to that is that Eddie Hearn has been very vocal about the fact that AJ is feeling really good, learning from Usyk. He's looking to get back in the ring, and they have a date of July. So they're fighting anyone in July. I don't know who it'll be, but from what Eddie's saying, in July, you will see Anthony Joshua back in the ring. So my question to that is then why not Deontay Wilder? Because what if you do a July Netflix Wilder Joshua? I think that Joshua in his heart of hearts, you saw when they stare each other down.
Yeah,
Wilder was walking down, looked at him, and was like, "Let's get it on." And you saw AJ kind of looked at him condescendingly, like, "Bro, you don't want me to kill you because I will do that." Did you not just see me break a dude's jaw? You know, right?
Not only that, but he saw the pedigree. He did. You could tell he saw, and he said, "Brother, you've regressed. You're not who you used to be. All that is not the same." And also, I was talking to a friend earlier today, right? And I said to him, people always talk about the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight as a one-way street. And what I mean by that is it's always like, man, as soon as Deontay hit him, are you crazy? What happens when AJ hits Deontay? Are we going to act like AJ's all of a sudden this pillow fist dude? Like he's not out here, like he doesn't have the second high at one point in time, if not right now, has the second highest knockout ratio. You know what I'm saying? Between the both of them, it was Deontay number 1, AJ number 2. Right. Why are we talking like the big thing is going to be AJ staying out the way out of the right hand? That's part of the conversation for sure. That's part of it, but there's another part to the conversation, isn't there, Angelo?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that Anthony Joshua, I mean, y'all saw how he knocked out Francis Ngannou. I mean, like it or not, man, he still got that. And he's
been doing that, by the way. The shit he was doing with Alexander Usyk and Andy Ruiz too, and Jermaine Franklin, that was new AJ. That was where did that's where we were all screaming, where did old AJ go? Because old AJ was sleeping everybody. Old AJ put Dillian White through the ropes, had him looking like get him a stretcher. That's what old AJ was doing.
Right. Well, I mean, and again, what we're really going to find out is this version of AJ, right? I don't know what it'll be, which is why I think that for a must-see TV type Clay, people are going to be interested in it. So it's really just going to come down to Deontay Wilder's right hand health, his actual want to do it. I think in terms of money, it's the most money Deontay's going to be able to make is if he chooses to fight Anthony Joshua. And then to your question, well, why would Anthony Joshua want to do it? For exactly the reason that you're saying. Because Anthony Joshua believes he'll knock out Deontay. Thank you for the tune-up.
I like it.
Tyson Fury, I'm ready for your ass, right?
I like it. No, I like it. If he feels like he can knock him out, like if he feels like it's really easy work, why not pick up the bag? Why leave that money on the floor?
He's looking. He's like he might be looking at Deontay honestly right now, saying to himself, "You're like Jake Paul, bro. Like I'm gonna do you dirtier than I did Jake Paul, right?" And I'm not saying it.
At least so Jake was moving. At least Jake was running from me, right? At least Jake was running from me. You not going. You gonna actually sit and fight me because you think you about to knock me out. So let's
exactly. So that's why. I mean, is a Netflix event that we're going to be watching this Saturday. Netflix is going to pump up Tyson Fury versus AJ. Tyson Fury will probably get on a mic and go, AJ, you're next, or whatever the hell he's going to do. Then you might hear, I mean, if Shelly Finkel could get this straight, bro, before Saturday, you might hear, Eddie said he's going to be there. AJ said he's going to be there. You might hear him go, Netflix, Anthony Joshua's back July, right? Now, it's hard because of the DAZN deal, but Netflix likes to give a lot of money. And what better event than Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, July, Netflix. Now, it's possible, Clay, because Misfits...
Wait. Go backwards just a little bit for me here. You're saying on the back end of a Tyson Fury victory on Saturday?
Yeah, that Fury's going to say, I want you next, AJ. And when they're interviewing AJ, he's going to go, I'm going to get you too. But first, I'm coming back in July and I'm fighting. A big announcement's going to happen, right? And if the announcement ends up being in July, because that's what Eddie keeps saying, AJ's back in July. It's either DAZN or Netflix, the two guys. And then it's going to be AJ Wilder, July, bro. It's going to be a summer blockbuster. All right.
I agree with you. I agree with you to a certain degree because I do feel like the time to strike Deontay may be now.
Now.
But at the same time, I think there's also another argument to say that Deontay, if you really want the fight with Deontay, the time to strike is now. And the reason I would say that is because you don't know that he wins his next fight. Right. Because if it's not against AJ, it'll be against somebody else, right? We already lived this out and saw Deontay lose to Joseph Parker, right? When we were supposed to have the fight then and get the money, he dropped the bag, lost. We don't know what he's mentally going to be. So if he's motivated now, he's got a victory under his belt right now. I know what I'm going to do with him. There is an argument there to say Tyson Fury is going to be there. Get Deontay now, 40 million, 30, 50 million in my bank account real quick. Boom. And then we doubling it up. Or maybe even tripling up when we fight Tyson Fury, maybe closer to the end of the year. I agree with that. You know what I mean? That it would make sense. It would make sense to maybe do it, to carry it that way. And also probably be a bigger fight around Christmas. You know what I'm saying? For him and Tyson Fury, for sure.
Yeah, no. A Christmas fight between him and Tyson Fury, bro, to the UK fans, Merry Christmas. They're all going to love it. And honestly, the state of boxing at that point, we might already be in the passing of the torch level, right? So the Tyson Fury AJ fight let's say in December, Clay, or near the winter might just be the cap off to saying goodbye, right? In the meantime, Moses is rising. And on the back end of that, we got Wardley versus Dubois. We have Tony Yoka versus Lawrence Okole. There's so many heavyweights in the picture. Jared Anderson's coming back, fighting Solomon Dakers, right? Like there's so many different the heavyweight picture is becoming more and more clear. So yeah, man. Yeah. And by the way, I hate that I have to always do this, Clay, but everybody, can you please press the like buttons, man? I don't like it when I have to get mad at y'all, but it's so easy and it's free, right? I'm not even asking you guys for color on the chat, but we do appreciate it.
Right.
But you guys are being diabolical that we're already not at like 50 likes. Come on, stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
hit
it
the
already.
like button, man. Subscribe to the channel as well. Okay, so I mean, that's what it is. We'll see what I think. A lot of it we're going to figure out on Saturday on the back end of this victory between on the back end on the results of this fight between Tyson Fury and Makhmudov. We'll see what happens, right, and what the heavyweight division is doing. As far as I'm concerned, Deontay Wilder, he should be chasing money. That's what I think he's doing. So the biggest fight, I agree with you 100%, is Anthony Joshua. But at the same exact time, Anthony Joshua does have options. Does he, if he has to go, hopefully he doesn't have to do one or the other. The next question I would probably end this conversation with real quick here is just, what does Turki want? Do you think? What does Turki want? Does he want Deontay Wilder next? Does that make more sense for him? Or does he want Tyson Fury next for AJ? What does
I honestly believe he wants this, because why did he spend all that money for Day of Reckoning? Remember, they made a documentary movie on Day of Reckoning.
Right.
Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallen, Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. The two of them were supposed to win in December of 2024. Day of Reckoning, a film crew was doing all of it, dude.
Right.
And then they were supposed to do a big summer fight in 2025. Well, never happened. So I'm pretty sure it's one of those fights that
you think he might want Deontay more than Tyson Fury?
No. He definitely wants Tyson Fury. But
Right.
I think he already has the Tyson Fury one locked down. I think he has that one. He already knows AJ Tyson Fury for sure.
He's had bad luck. One thing about Turkey, he's had bad luck with the whole entire setting up fights to happen, because they don't, he got burned with the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia situation. He got burned with the Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Boots Ennis situation, right?
True.
He got burned with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. So
got burned with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, trying to put that together in New York. Right. You were there.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I'm wondering if he's been burned enough to where he's like, I'm done building. I'm taking what's on the table, what makes sense right now. I'm done gambling with a fighter doing their job or even winning, or disrespectfully, when you're dealing with good matchmaking, nothing is promised. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all on the back end of the fight, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think that's going to play a part in it. What Turki wants, what he wants next. I'm sure that's what AJ cares about, because that's where his money is tied up in. So we'll see what it is. Anyway, that being said, moving forward and continue to move forward to Caroline Dubois.
Ooh,
let's go right over to Caroline Dubois.
We're going here right now. Okay,
yeah, because
I like this.
We're an hour and some change into this, and I want to get to the meat and potatoes, right? And we got a bigger conversation even after that one that I want to have. So right now, Caroline Dubois does her thing. Common opponent Terry Harper, dominant performance as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't get the stoppage, but dominates the fight as far as I'm concerned, and the judges agree with it. But if
she was sick, by the way, Clay, did you know that she was sick?
No. I didn't even know.
Okay, yeah, Caroline Dubois was sick. So but she said she was going to push through it. So
so I mean, look, it is what it is. Triangle theory tactics. ALYCIA Baumgardner is the big fight, is the big picture. That's probably one of the biggest fights, if not the biggest fight that could be made in women's boxing right now on the biggest stage, right? Is probably Caroline Dubois and ALYCIA Baumgardner. There's other fights that may be more significant, whether it be for unifications, undisputed, things of that nature. But as far as just, the attention of the boxing space, women's boxing being on the big stage, ESPN, it seems like MVP picked up Caroline Dubois for ALYCIA Baumgardner off the strength of ALYCIA, right? Like, we got ALYCIA Baumgardner. Who are we going to put here? Oh, of course, it only makes sense, Caroline Dubois. They're both in two separate weight class divisions. Let's first talk about the fight as far as what we saw from Caroline Dubois. Very patient, very poised, worked behind the jab, cut the ring off, attacked the body, put Terry Harper down, I believe in this, the fourth round, or what round it was. Put her on her pockets.
Yeah, definitely put her on her ass, though, for sure.
And that put Terry, shout out to Terry Harper, who turns up after that, and she starts to engage in the fight in a way that I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, shit. She's actually trying to get hers in and get her lick back. Didn't work out for her, but, still showed that warrior spirit. It is what it is, though. Caroline Dubois dominates. What do you think about the performance?
Yeah, no, I thought, first of all, shout out to Most Valuable Promotions, Nikisa Bedarian, Jake Paul. You guys are doing your thing, man. You guys are really putting women's boxing as a league format is extremely smart. Everybody, it's almost like Most Valuable Promotions, Clay, is the in between of and one basketball and NBA, right? Like there's certain fights that they know they should be making, and in fact, if I don't know if you have it ready to go, but if you don't, you guys could go see it on Sky Sports. There's a short clip of Jake Paul in the gym with Carolyn Dubois, and he says, so ALYCIA Baumgardner versus Carolyn Dubois, the biggest fight to make. And he's having this conversation with Carolyn. So Jake Paul wants this fight to happen, Clay, because Jake Paul understands the magnitude of this. So shout out to you guys. Shout out for putting together a great fight, starting off the whole event, right? So Claymore and I, we called it Sunday morning for me. It was early afternoon for him. But the first fight, Elizabeth Ashoba, let me tell you guys something right now about that girl, man. Look her up. That's your next future killer champion. She is amazing. 27 years old, 5'7", 126 pounds. She's a killer. All right. Undefeated, over 50% knockout ratio. Women's boxing right now. Elizabeth Ashoba. And then the card just kept getting better moving forward, right? You saw Irma Garcia get that knockout. Then you saw Chantel Cameron do her thing also, right, Clay? And then what I thought was kind of I understand what you're saying, that Ellie Scottney rightfully won. Sure, but for the judges not to give a round to Mayerly Flores, that was terrible. And then we got to the Carolyn Dubois versus Terry Harper fight. Bro, good fight. Terry Harper is definitely a legend in the sport. I don't think anyone can take that away from her resume. Her two losses were Sandy Ryan and ALYCIA Baumgardner early, controversially, of course, now, Clay. And I just got to throw that out there because the narrative is out there that some people may say, well, did you really beat Terry Harper? Could you do that to Terry Harper now? Right? Like if I was ALYCIA Baumgardner, I might want to fight Terry Harper again just to prove that that wasn't a fluke the first time, right? Because that's one of the things that Carolyn Dubois is saying is, well, we haven't seen a knockout from you since, you know, girl, like what's up?
The controversial situation, right?
Yeah, and look, like me and Clay aren't doing that. We're just giving you the news of what's being said. That's what they're doing. But how is this any different than a lot of people believe Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney no matter what, you know, call him a drug cheat or whatever. But how many boxers, Hall of Famers have said, yeah, but the steroids doesn't allow you to hit someone with a left hook. That's a defensive issue. That has nothing to do with the steroids, right? So it's the same thing in a lot of ways, right? Certainly it's brewing. And performance-wise, what did you watch, Clay? You watch a Terry Harper trying to fight her style, but honestly, Terry Harper at her older stage, which is why it's not a fair comparison. It's not very fair if you're going to do triangle theory. This is an older Terry Harper who's trying to preserve not getting knocked out. The younger Terry Harper was like, I don't care. I don't think you're that good. The older Terry Harper, and also when they fought the first time, it was at a lighter weight. This is a heavier weight for Terry Harper. And look, a heavier girl.
And arguably, Terry Harper's is a better fighter now than she was when she fought ALYCIA Baumgardner. She got more experience. She has a different outlook on the sport, a different outlook on her career, different strategy. It's about adjustments, right? Did we expect Terry Harper to be the same fighter? No, she's going to be better. There's arguably Carolyn Dubois fought the better Terry Harper, the bigger Terry Harper, the less, no weight cut, more experience, all these different things. So the triangle theory, we already know. We don't need to let people know the triangle theory doesn't apply. But at least they now do have the common opponent. And it looks like ALYCIA Baumgardner on the 17th is also going to have a common opponent, a fighter that Carolyn Dubois also fought. You know what I'm saying? And Bo Shin, what's her name? Bo something Shin? What's her name?
Bo Ri Shin. Bo Ri Shin.
A fighter that may have, you know, to some people, arguments are out there that Bo Ri Shin offered some exposing to potential condition issues from Carolyn Dubois, that maybe in the later rounds, you know, a high-paced fight, Carolyn Dubois may get winded a little bit, or, you know, so this is an opportunity for ALYCIA Baumgardner as well to have that common opponent and kind of have some separation there on the end of the result. But I think the big story for me here is obviously them fighting each other and how realistic it is and whether or not that fight should be happening next, or should Caroline Dubois be looking to continue to just build up her resume, because they are in 2 different weight classes, right? ALYCIA Baumgardner at 130 pounds, pursuing big fights. I think Amanda Serrano is probably one of the big fights that she's probably trying to have at some point. She's looking to have fights in her division, more importantly. Does ALYCIA Baumgardner really, in my personal opinion, is a bigger star than Caroline Dubois right now, right? She's the face of MVP. She's the one who got signed by Amanda Serrano and Jake Paul as almost a flagship fighter for women's boxing for MVP Promotions. There's an argument there to say that Caroline Dubois got signed on the back end of ALYCIA Baumgardner. She was brought in as we're bringing ALYCIA Baumgardner a fighter. You know what I'm saying? We want to be, ALYCIA's our flagship fighter. We're bringing Carolyn in off the strength of that. Does ALYCIA Baumgardner get a pass on saying, not right now, because I'm not moving out of my position with what I have on the table? I have a game plan. I have the fights that I want to have. I know what I want to do, the money I can make, and you build yourself up some more. I have options. I don't have to fight you next. We're not even in the same weight division. Beat people in your division. Unify, continue unifying, become undisputed like I did. Earn your fucking stripes. And that fight, when it makes sense, we do it. Does ALYCIA Baumgardner have a legitimate argument to say that?
I mean, look, man, ALYCIA, and we support ALYCIA in this channel. We think she's great. She's done what she's done. She's great for the sport. Controversy or not, right? She's great for the sport. She's doing her thing. Congratulations on her contract with Most Valuable Promotions. But what ALYCIA is saying isn't necessarily factual more than it is opinionated, right? Like, it is a fact that she's undisputed in that division. That's true. But it's also true that Caroline Dubois just became the Ring Magazine lineal champion at 135 pounds. So when you say words like, well, I beat the man to be the man, well, so did Caroline Dubois. In fact, Caroline Dubois beat your man. That's what Caroline Dubois, but she beat your man. So
are we talking about Bo Ring? We talking about her
I'm talking about Caroline Dubois just beat Terry Harper. That's what. So when ALYCIA Baumgardner was saying, "Well, man, I'm undisputed. I beat the man to be the man." Well, to be the man is to be the lineal champion, and Caroline Dubois just became the lineal champion. So if it's not being said that she, and by the way, let me point this out. I don't know what's going on, Rick Reno. I don't know if there's a political thing between you guys and MVP. But I'm just gonna say this, Doug, Max, if you guys want to continue to respect boxing all the way across the board, then you have to be respectful enough to women's boxing also, that a representative needed to be there on Sunday to hand Caroline Dubois her Ring Magazine belt, because that's not fair, man. I mean, what are you guys doing here, right? Like, that, what happened is, on the back room, Ellie Scottney, such a lovely champion, she had a Ring Magazine belt that she had received, right? Like a few months ago. So Carolyn kept giving it back to her, and she's like, no, you're the new ring champion. You need to take a picture with the Ring Magazine belt, right? And you know what? Shout out to you ladies, man, for backing each other up. That's great. But come on, Rick, Doug Fisher, you guys get it together, man. Let's show some respect to the women. All right. Let's if you're gonna allow them to be on the ring ratings, then show up, have a representative. I mean, shit. Have some. I mean, even the IBF flew someone to Zuffa just to fly his ass back. But you know what I'm saying? like y'all couldn't be there. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I want to remind everybody in the building, man. We got like about 50 people in here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, but definitely hit the like button. Come on, take a moment, double tap on the screen if you're on your phone, and definitely if you're on your computer, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Support the channel, support the grind, man. Listen, there's an argument there from both of them. Caroline Dubois also shared about the drug teeth, which I think is fair. I think he's right. I do recognize the fact that ALYCIA Baumgardner is not as explosive. She's not as powerful. She's not knocking people out, stopping people. She's not the big threat that she was once in the ring. Matter of fact, I think there's a certain wanting, right? Every time we watch ALYCIA Baumgardner fight, at the end of the fight, it's sounding like, damn, what happened? Like, even though in her last fight, I give her a lot of respect. I think she's boxing great footwork, great jab. I think she's very athletic still. but you know that what we knew the Baumgardner for being, I haven't seen that since the whole entire performance enhancement drug situation has turned up. So look, at the end of the day, though, it's a big fight. I think Caroline Dubois has a legitimate argument as far as building up this fight. I don't want Caroline not talking about ALYCIA Baumgardner, right? I want her to keep the fight alive, but I also think there's an argument on the other side from ALYCIA Baumgardner's side to say, yeah, I hear you when I'm ready.
Yeah.
And not when I'm ready off the strength of I'm scared of you. When I'm ready after I finish getting this money, getting this chicken, killing what I can kill right now in front of me. I have a game plan with Jake, with MVP on how this money gonna come to me and the fights that could be made in my division that they want to see happen. And I'm not jumping the gun, putting those fights at risk, doing anything other than that. You continue doing what you're doing, right? Build yourself up. And trust me, when we meet up in an organic way, when I come up to that division, I'm going to be looking to fight the biggest dog in that division. And it should be you according to what you say you're going to do. So continue doing that, man. And I'll see you soon. Not next.
No, absolutely, Clay. And and I appreciate the chat who continue to engage with our conversation. So I'm going to address this, Akeem. I don't know how much more respect I can give Baumgardner than when I started my monologue with "We respect her and we're a fan of her." Come on, bro. Nobody's disrespecting Baumgardner, right? But you want me to mention the mayor one? You want to open this can of worms, Akeem? I'm gonna open it with you, bro. You know how many people believe Michaela Mayer? Do you know how many people believe Michaela Mayer actually beat ALYCIA Baumgardner and ALYCIA Baumgardner got away with one on that one? All right. So I'm just saying, a win is a win. I get you, bro, but that might not be the one you want to throw at me. All right, because a lot of people felt like ALYCIA Baumgardner lost that fight. That's number one.
Yeah, a lot of people felt like she lost the Michaela Mayer fight.
Yeah. Number two, to my colleague Claymore commenting on Michaela Mayer wearing the hell out of them leather pants on Sunday. What I will say about Michaela Mayer.
Don't go there with me. Don't go there with me. You know damn well them pants was being worn. Those pants were being worn, brother. Those
shout out, bro. I was trying to pay attention to the fight.
Shout out to Yves Saint Laurent. Let's take a moment. They're not sponsoring this show, but shout out to Yves Saint Laurent. Hey, Michaela. hey, Michaela.
Oh man. Hey, shout out to guys. Check out this hat from HERN.shop, Hearn.shop. If you guys like streetwear fashion, like chrome hearts and stuff like that, check out this brand. But anyway, secondly, Michaela Mayer, I will say, will go down as an all-time great, especially if she beats Chantel Cameron. Because Chantel Cameron's only loss is to Katie Taylor, bro.
Okay, so segue into that, right? Because I thought Chantel Cameron had a great performance, man. She just showed those levels to this game, and she did a great job on selling the fight. I think everybody's got to be super intrigued to see Michaela Mayer and Chantel Cameron after that performance, because like you said, Michaela Mayer's already got Hall of Fame qualities about her already. You know what I'm saying? With what she's done.
Absolutely.
She's in the conversations of fighting a crazy catchweight super fight with Clarissa Shields, right? Like people still are speaking about that in a positive way. But Chantel Cameron showed up and showed out, breaking down. I'm not going to say her last name, but I'll just call her Michaela, another Michaela. And I think that fight is a great fight and should be the next fight. Probably is going to be the next fight, right? What do you think?
Yeah, no. It is going to be the next fight. That's one of the great things they do over there at Sky Sports Boxing. ESPN Plus, ESPN, we got to tell you guys, you need to sharpen up on there's a lot of glitches going on. The production, you were getting the names wrong, man. So I don't know if Sky Sports had the same problem.
Like the clock was
the clock was wrong. Like, tighten up, man. We're used to Zuffa boxing production here, all right, in this channel. So tighten it up. Don't get the names wrong, all right? Okay, so, Chantel Cameron looked great. Proved that she can carry 154 just fine. Because remember, she was the undisputed 140. That's how Katie Taylor became the undisputed 140. But that's also how Katie Taylor got her first loss, is when Katie Taylor moved up to 140. So Chantel Cameron going up to 154, winning a title. This is good. This is great. I think that Michaela Mayer, Chantel Cameron's going to be a great fight. I don't exactly know who to pick on that one, because you saw how good Chantel Cameron is, man. She puts it on people, especially to the body. That body work, Yeah, I mean, she puts it on people. But I don't like going against Michaela Mayer. You know, she finds a
Oh
way.
yeah, I'm not going. That's a fight that I would lean towards Michaela, but more importantly, a fight I want to see more than figure out who, you know, like let them tell me who the winner is going to be in the ring. You feel me? That's one of those fights. Like, you guys let me know who the winner is by the results. But stylistically, yeah, man, I think that this fight delivers. That's one of those women's. That fight right there is one of those women's boxing matches that puts women boxing on the big stage. You know what I'm saying? Like it delivers. If a casual steps into a Chantel Cameron, Michaela Mayer fight, they might walk away and be like, damn, I like women's boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's one of those potentially very impactful fights, just based on the pedigree and the willingness to display and showcase some good boxing by both these ladies, man. So I'll be looking forward to see that fight. Period. We win. That's who wins it. I can guarantee.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And Most Valuable Promotions is continuing to do what they're doing. They dropped an announcement today that Amanda Serrano is back, bro, and Amanda Serrano's back at 126 pounds, and she's going to be fighting in Texas, El Paso, which is kind of crazy, right? But hey, man, that's awesome. Thank you for continuing to push women's boxing. I mean, look, Amanda Serrano doesn't really need to prove anything anymore. So if she wants to keep doing it, then that's great. I know you mentioned the whole ALYCIA Baumgardner, Amanda Serrano thing because ALYCIA mentioned it. But let's be honest.
She didn't mention. She didn't mention.
No, she did. She did when she did her little TMZ.
Oh, I didn't see it.
She was
know.
like, I got bigger names, girl. Like she
already addressed it.
Oh, you didn't see it? Come on, bro. Go find that. I don't know. Man, it was entertainment. It was classic entertainment.
Well, wait, hold on. Before we go any further into that,
listen to me, boo boo. Listen to me.
Okay, hold on. Shout out to ALYCIA Baumgardner, man. The one and only ALYCIA Baumgardner. I'm sure she sold the shit out of everything, but I didn't know that happened. But okay, so now it does make sense. I think at the end of the day, I believe ALYCIA Baumgardner, Amanda Serrano is a fight that could be on the table in real time, because I believe the same way Caroline was brought in for ALYCIA, I feel like ALYCIA was brought in for Amanda. You know what I'm saying?
That could be true, but ALYCIA's gonna need to get it up a lot more, though, right? Because
to do what?
Well, she's not. Look, man. As much as
talking about like to win the fight, come on, skill set.
No, I'm talking about just overall across the board popularity. Because ALYCIA Baumgardner doesn't check the box that Katie Taylor checks, and I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, but who's
right?
Amanda fighting now?
No, well, she's fighting. Oh wait, it doesn't matter, dude. Amanda could be fighting Rico Verhoeven, and Amanda's famous, bro.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what ALYCIA brings to the table. What matters is she delivers that fight right there. What matters on the back end of that fight is the performance of that actual fight. It's on the back end of that fight ALYCIA Baumgardner benefits, right? So that's the opportunity. Amanda Serrano it don't matter who she fights. Last time I seen her fight, I don't even remember the girl's name to this day who it was, but it was an epic event. Everybody was super like excited because it's Amanda Serrano. So, you know, ALYCIA Baumgardner doesn't need to bring sellability and bring commercial value to this fight, and she brings some, but she doesn't need to compete with Katie or be the biggest. She probably is going to be the biggest fight that Amanda Serrano could put together right now, or one of them on the back end.
Tough. That's tough.
The back. Listen,
that's tough. No, you know why? You know why that's tough? And I'm gonna tell you why that's tough, right? So Amanda Serrano is coming off of the back end of a trilogy with Katie Taylor at 140 pounds. And the whole thing about Amanda Serrano has always been, hey man, she's really 126, but blah, she's willing to do this. If we're gonna talk about fights that would actually move the needle more, okay? Move the needle more, I'd rather see Amanda Serrano versus Caroline Dubois in a passing of the torch type of a fight than I would ALYCIA Baumgardner getting a payday to fight Amanda Serrano.
Okay,
bro.
but
you see what I'm trying to say here?
That's what you want, right? But let me tell you, ALYCIA Baumgardner is a better press conference person, better on the mic. Caroline is just now getting her mic game going, just letting it fly.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It's going to be a better press conference. She's going to get more support from the American boxing space, right?
Okay, true,
right?
True,
and
true.
Potentially, you know what I'm saying, going up to 135 to fight Caroline Dubois. Why would I do that when I could just fight ALYCIA at 130?
Okay, all those points are very factual and correct. Right? I'm just saying, all I'm trying to say is, Amanda, you don't got to do nothing you don't want to do, girl. You just do whatever you
clearly,
want.
she's a co-owner.
You're on the Usyk. You're on the Usyk level of women's boxing now.
100%,
You
Angela,
know, just get your money.
100%. I'm 100%. What I'm talking about is what would Amanda rather do? That's what I'm talking about right now, right? I'm talking about Amanda sitting there going, I'd rather just go to 130 instead of go fight a big puncher, a strong, big 135 pounder in Carolina Dubois. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather fight an ALYCIA Baumgardner at 130. I'd rather get that American press conference, that tour we're going to do in LA, New York, whatever MVP is going to give me. We're going to do it good because ALYCIA going to talk that shit. She's going to talk it. She's going to sell that fight. She's a good-looking woman. You know what I'm saying? That alone is going to help sell it because this is women's boxing. Shout out to Michaela Mayer and YSL. You know what I'm saying? Right. All those little different aspects. The weighing is going to be crazy because ALYCIA going to come out with something crazy, fire. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the cheeks is going to be out. Shout out to Two-Tone. The yams is going to be out. The abs is going to be popping. The six-pack is going to be going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
and Amanda, you're not lying. None of these are lies. So okay. All right. But can I throw one more at you because Toledo, he's good. Trees, shout out to you, bro, being on the chat. He likes to throw out the correct factual things on the fact that ALYCIA Baumgardner is not the current undisputed because Carolyn Vire has one of the
why isn't she undisputed?
Right.
Let's be honest. Why isn't she undisputed? She's not undisputed because she wanted to fight 3-minute rounds. Right, she was trying to echo in and bring in new boxing. She was trying to be part of the conversation. She's going to be recognized, and at the end of the day, she's
undisputed. I got you.
Inside of a ring, so it is what
I got you. All right. So, having said that, though, my only other one because my debate point here is on Amanda can do whatever you want, but a bigger fight for Amanda, I can actually argue, is if Sky Nicholson does her thing being on free accessible Fox Sports in Australia coming up.
We're not hating on her, bro. I love Caroline. She's my favorite women's boxer.
Yeah. K came in late, bro. K Money came in late, bro.
Yeah. I'm just keeping it real, though. She's literally my favorite. If you come around here, K Money, ask anybody in the chat. That is literally my that's my girl.
K Money's not subscribed to the channel yet, Clay.
Yeah,
K Money's not
subscribed a super long way, but I'm keeping it 100.
Right. No, I'm just gonna say that for Amanda Serrano because she's currently at the 126-pound level. You know, the bigger fight really commercially for her would be a Sky Nicholson fight because Sky Nicholson could bring a lot of eyes to the table. And if you're talking about the whole, on the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins queen is ALYCIA Baumgardner. I could argue that I don't know, man. Sky Nicholson got a lot of eyes on the weigh-ins too, bro.
I ain't fucking with no AB on that weigh-in, bro. You crazy? AB come out on them high heels, bro. She come out there looking like a sound when AB comes out there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, bro, we don't gotta play no games, bro. I'm telling you right now, we don't even play those games, bro. When the Chinese Black American stallion steps out onto the stage, bro, we all know what we waiting to see. We know them Williams is gonna be crazy when it comes to ALYCIA. We know exactly what we waiting to see. At least my community, I'm telling you right now, we know what we about to see. When she come up out there, bro, and it's gonna sell tickets, and also she brings that pedigree. Listen, depending on how she performs this weekend, we got to see what I mean on the 17th.
Yeah, on that next. Yeah.
We got to see what ends up happening. But look, man, Amanda Serrano, I think ALYCIA Baumgardner has other opportunities out there, potential opportunities at a minimum, and I could see and I'm okay with her saying, in a minute, I got you.
Right.
I got you.
Did you see her little clap back Thursday or whatever? Did you see it yet? Or
no, I
thought you were gonna put it up, bro. I thought you were gonna try to find it and put it up. It's all good. Fight Hype had it. She was really clapping it up.
I gotta check it out. What was she talking about? I know she's talking about everything I was talking about.
Yeah, she basically said, "Why, you're a nobody. You need me, right? I'm on a different level. You need to go get undisputed. Why are you worried about me? I'm not even in your weight division. Why are you guys asking for me to go up there?" And all that. Which by the way, I'm like, look, I'm gonna say this right now so that it's factual for Akeem. Hear me when I say this, all right? ALYCIA, we support you at the ATP Combat Media. But if you're going to keep it 100 and say you're just going to clean out 130, there's a girl by the name of Elif Nur Turhan, the Terminator, who is currently your mandatory. She's the WBA interim champion. She won it in August. And when certain people like Two Tone talking about Carolyn Dubois, quote unquote, ducking Elif Nur Turhan, I say back to you, Two Tone, you might want to do your research, because last time I checked, the Terminator is not the mandatory for Carolyn Dubois. The Terminator, however, is the mandatory for Amanda for ALYCIA Baumgardner.
Maybe she's got it lined up, bro.
Let me tell you something right now. Eddie Hearn would be happy to make that a 3-minute round. Happy. Hercules. He'd be happy. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Hey, man, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Regardless, the fact that we're having this great discussion over women's boxing speaks to the impact of these ladies that we're talking about in the sport. It speaks to the impact of a Michaela Mayer, speaks to the impact of a Caroline Dubois, speaks to the impact of Amanda Serrano, of an ALYCIA Baumgardner, right? Of all these fighters, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm interested in seeing the matchmaking. I love the build-up and the story behind this Caroline Dubois fight and ALYCIA Baumgardner that's building up. And I think I don't need it next. I've thought about it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind it next, but I don't need it next. I'm okay with this building up. I'm confident in Caroline Dubois doing what she needs to do at 135 to stay in the conversation, to continue winning, to continue accomplishing and getting belts. You know how I feel about Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
Shout out Sweet Caroline.
So your favorite female fighter, man. Everybody knows
hands
it.
down,
if you
bro.
Subscribe to the channel, guys.
All the way.
You already know. That's Clay's fighter.
And baby girl ain't ugly, because I know people try to play her because she kind of got that build, you know what I mean, about her. Nah, she a beautiful black woman, bro. Beautiful smile, bro. Excellent, very articulate. She's checking a lot of boxes. It's just that she's growing onto the sport right now. She's just getting her voice. She's just getting into it. And I'm loving that, by the way. I'm loving her getting into her voice. She cussing and shit. Hey, man. I ain't mad at Carolina. We call my girl ALYCIA Baumgardner a fucking drug cheat, and she ain't mad. She ain't lying. She just keeping it real. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And, you know, ALYCIA been bringing it. So let ALYCIA continue to do what she's doing at 130. Let her deal with that mandatory. I think that should be some pressure. We could continue to apply pressure for her to fight that mandatory. I'm looking forward to seeing what big fight she can put together, because I do think that MVP is putting a lot of they're betting a lot. They're gambling. They're throwing the dice behind ALYCIA Baumgardner being somebody who can carry the torch for Amanda Serrano, who can take that and be that leader in that space. So let's make sure she's doing what she's got to do there as well, man. So So let's segue into another conversation, because the time is ticking. I want to get into Devin Haney, Rolly Romero, Manny Pacquiao, PBC, this whole entire
Why are you ending our show on a bad note, bro?
Nah, bro, this is a good note. This conversation needs to be had, man. This is the business of boxing. This is a part of the conversation we try not to speak about a lot, because it starts going into fighters' money and their pockets, and we don't like to be in a fighter's pockets, right? But the conversation is a conversation that we always got to talk about when it comes to what I call now the one version of boxing, the lawless land, the wild, wild west of boxing, where fights aren't ordered, right? They're made. And on the back end of that being so important in this space of boxing, right now we're dealing with a situation with Devin Haney and Rolly Romero to a fight that they were trying to make but wasn't made due to business that arguably is outdated in the current space of boxing. And
I mean, 38,000 people. More people watch our YouTube, I think, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The business of boxing now, fighters who understand where pay-per-views are, right? They understand how volatile that number can be, how it doesn't necessarily speak to your popularity or speak to your sellability as much as it speaks to a epidemic of piracy, right? That is going on at the highest level, to where
shout out the Fire Stick,
right? Even the biggest stars in the game, the Canelo Alvarez's, right? These guys, the Gervonta Tank Davises, shout out to the Gervonta Tank Davises, don't want to play in this game without guaranteed money, Ray.
Right.
They don't want to do it.
In fact, can I also add to that? soliloquy that you had right there is the reason why, in my opinion, this is my opinion, David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez Cinco de Mayo event had to be part of the zone is because I think that PBC knew that if it was just straight up pay-per-view off Amazon Prime, it might not have made the money it needed to make to get to David Benavidez's minimum. So I think they needed the zone to come in and say, hey, here's some money, and you could have it with our ultimate package customers like Claymore Rain on the zone. Because isn't it weird to you that Amazon Prime's going to charge you whatever, $80, but you can watch it on the zone for nothing because you're already paying the $45 that month anyway.
Right, but then you get the arguments that'll say that I'm paying something, right? Because the $45 is still, it's an upcharge, and it's a mandatory year, by the way, long commitment. It's not something that I can cancel when I feel like it. I'm stuck with it for the year. So, and I'm not stuck with it because I want it, but I'm just saying somebody who made the old model of the zone was like, I could pay for a month, and if I don't like next month, I could cancel. There'd be I can't do that now. Not that I want to, once again. Because I'm happy with what I'm getting. I do wish the price was cheaper. You think I want to pay what I'm paying? No. Obviously, I wish it was free. What the fuck, right?
Right.
At the end of the day,
Paramount Plus is for us.
Right. I mean, but at the end of the day, there's no regret in me what I'm paying. I'm happy with what I'm getting, especially now with the addition of Top Rank. But that being said, the model is flawed, right? And we're seeing more important than the model being flawed, right? Is clearly fighters are drawing a line in the sand right now. They're not comfortable with the model anymore. They don't want to play the game anymore, right? They don't want to be forced to be stuck in antics or being a crossover fighter. My sellability, the way I look, the way I talk, everything outside of what I do inside the ring being a huge criteria in dictating the amount of money I receive, rather than it being more so around the quality of fighter I am, the accolades, the resume that I've built up, the level of competition I'm facing. They want those things to matter, and they don't want it to be on the back end of pay-per-view sales, because pay-per-view sales are not dependable. So bringing it full circle, Devin Haney, Rolly Romero negotiations fall to shit. I'm hearing rumors that they're still potentially negotiating. There's still potential conversations happening, but as far as if we're going to go on present time information of what Devin Haney communicated, of what Rolly Romero communicated, the negotiations are to shit, right? They're on the side because Devin explained it. He says, listen, man, they want me. They want that first $6 million to go towards paying for the event. Then after that, what's left, they want me and Rolly Romero to split it 50-50. Devin says, no bueno, we're not doing that. Rolly's not even been on as many big stages as me or earned as much money as me. So there's no way in hell he's going to be playing on an even playing field for me. But probably even more importantly to Devin Haney is I should be getting guaranteed money. It's what I've been getting. Now you guys want me to do something different. How long is this PBC model going to continue to move this way before they finally allow reality to settle in and try to find another way to make these big fights, Angelo?
I mean, I think you pointed this out, and I don't know if we're going to end up doing a Read the Ring conversation about this. Shout out to the Read the Ring series. Thanks, guys, for continuing to support that. Check out episode 10, please, for all of you guys. Check it out and comment. You said it to me, man. There's a trust issue with the PBC, right? Networks don't want to work with the PBC because they hundreds of millions of dollars from other investors. Maybe the zone doesn't even want to work with PBC. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. But that model that they're trying to do, it's already dead, man. And the Sebastian Fundora fight just proved it. $38,000 buys, multiply it. 38,000 times $75, bro. Like that. So how do you divide all of that? How do you even divide that for the main event? You know what I mean? Like, so what's that mean? That means Jai Apataya got paid more money than both Fundora and Thurman?
Almost $2 million.
like, that's crazy, bro, because Jai made more than that by himself.
Right.
I don't even know how much Brandon Glenn made.
That means they're gonna be walking away with about $1.5 to $2 million a piece.
Jesus.
All said and done on the back end of that fight.
Listen, Sebastian, come to Fundora, make your money. I mean, come to Sebastian, come to Zuffa, make your money, bro. Because I'll guarantee you they'll pay you way more than that.
Yeah, but he's not gonna the way they're moving Sebastian right now. He ain't gonna want to do that because he doesn't want fights ordered. He wants the matchmaking skills of Samson Leakowitz and Tom Brown to continue to protect his back end. Right, it is what it is. The fight itself not being made, the deals that the PBC are putting together for the David Benavidez's, for the Canelo Alvarez's, well, the Canelo's not there no more, but for the David Benavidez's,
Oh,
whoever
he will be. He will be though, but yeah, I mean, he'll be back. Not with PBC, but yeah, he'll be back.
Right, whoever their big stars are, they're not going for that no more. Right, they've made it clear they want these guaranteed money. So this PBC situation with their finances and their ability to give guaranteed money seems like it's getting close to running its course from what I can tell. But that being said, though, there's another part of this story, right? That's also an important point of conversation, right? Which is Devin Haney was the money man a year ago, right? Let's just real quick go down memory lane and say that Devin Haney at one point in time on the back end of that Ryan Garcia fight was actually entertaining working with Black Prime, right? With BLK Prime.
You're talking 2024 then. Right. Are you
right.
Okay.
Right. Definitely. Right. But I said a year ago because a year ago it changed for him. Right. But before that, it was okay. Fuck. Top Rank, Matchroom, even my own promoter, Eddie Hearn. Everybody's lowballing me. They're saying yesterday's price ain't today's price. On the back end of losing that fight, they're all talking about low $1.5 million, $2 million guarantees with no real back end because they're not even shooting no pay-per-views. At the time, Eddie Hearn was trying to make a big fight between Devin Haney and I believe it was Liam Paro. But if it wasn't him, I'm not too sure who it was. But there was a Sandor Martin fight on the line, and Eddie Hearn backed out, said, "I'm not doing that, bro. We've already done that. I'm not doing that anymore." So Top Rank at the time, who was representing Sandor Martin, offered him a very low amount of money, and he was like, "This is crazy." And I believe this is what one of the foundational points of contention over suing Ryan Garcia, right? That was the whole idea that because of what you put me through with all these cheating allegations, and I'm putting the results of that fight on the back end of you cheating, you hurt my brand and my value. This is what he was bringing to the table. So he took a year hiatus out of the sport, said, I needed time to get my mind together. Bill took almost a year hiatus off of even talking on microphones. When they returned, Turki ALALSHIKH announced his presence in Devin Haney's career, in his life, and we started to see Devin Haney jump right back into the biggest bags. Independent, being that guy, Bill Haney, Devin Haney, DHP Promotions, independent from day one, showing the game. We don't got to sign to promoters. We don't got to sign multi-fight deals. We're the blueprint. Follow us. We're the new era. We're the new representation of the new generation of boxing, how things are going to be done. Super motivational. Turki puts on the first fight between Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney on an undercard of Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, which is very interesting. Horrible fight. The whole space is like, what's going on? Turki puts out his famous Tom and Jerry speech, right? Because that was the same weekend that we saw William Skull run around the ring for the 12 rounds against Canelo Alvarez, right? So,
can I just say real quick before you go? Thank you to Naoya Inoue and Ramon Cardenas for putting together a hell of a fight on Sunday here in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena on ESPN for free. Because if it wasn't for that fight, bro, that whole Cinco de Mayo weekend of 2025 would have been the worst Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, no, it was a horrible weekend of fight. Turki was like, I can't believe I paid all this money to put these fights together, and these fighters playing with my face, bro. And he put out this statement. No more Tom and Jerry. We ain't supporting it. You run around that damn ring again, you ain't fighting over here no more. So, fine. Shakur did his thing, remember? Louis Armstrong did his thing against Williams and Payne, showed the world what he could do. But more importantly, we were still in the air about Devin, but Turki was still there for Devin. He puts on the big fight. He says, Devin, give me a list. Remember the big list? Everybody still talks about the list. There's this list, which to us as boxing pundits was like, oh, Devin is the money man. He's everybody on this list's biggest payday.
Say the list.
The biggest payday. Yeah. There was Brian Norman. There was Jaron Ennis on it. There was Teofimo Lopez. There was Ryan Garcia, obviously, Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Tank Davis. And those are the names I can remember off the top of my head, right? They're just fighters that were on the list. He fights Brian Norman Jr. in Riyadh season, wins, has a great moment in the fight, has a great moment. I want to emphasize the moment was great in the fight to where he steps to Brian Norman, hooks with
round
the hooker.
two, right? Round two,
Round two,
right?
I think it was. Yeah, hooks with the hooker, puts Brian Norman down. Devin Haney's back. We're thinking, awesome. He delivered. He coasted the rest of the fight. Doesn't really, keep that same energy he had when he put Brian Norman Jr. down, but he dominates the fight, wins every round of the fight, damn near. I don't think it was a round I gave to Brian Norman. Maybe one might have been a swing round, but he dominates. And me and you sat here on the stage and said, yo, we're not ever going against Devin again. We're always going to favor him. You're going to have to beat Devin. We're not going against him no more because he's shown us that when he wants to, he has another gear that most fighters just ain't going to be able to compete with. Since that fight, Angelo, I have not heard Turki mention Devin's name.
Crickets.
I'm telling you, Turki just put out a statement the other day and said, yo, I got plans for AJ, he mentioned Ryan Garcia, all the fights he got plans for. He responded because people were like, yo, we ain't hearing from Turki. What's going on? So Turki comes out and tells the world, you crazy? I got this, that, and all these other things I'm going to be doing. You know who he didn't mention, bro? Devin Haney, bro.
Yeah.
He didn't mention Devin Haney. The man said he had plans for Ryan Garcia and did not mention Devin Haney, which leads me down in bringing it full circle, or I'll land my plane and I'm saying, what, from your perspective, have you seen to give you any idea, if you're going to speculate one way or the other, what's the current state, the relationship between Devin Haney and Turki ALALSHIKH, and maybe even more importantly, what would you give credence to the reason for the current state of their relationship? What's going on between them?
I mean, look, guys, boxing, it's some people say boxing in terms of a business style, it's very mom and pop, right? Because it's not like Fortune 500 corporate. Zuffa comes in, gives you a Fortune 500 style corporate model in where fights are ordered. Okay, it's like, hey, here's who you're fighting, right? Because what they want to just show you is closer to UFC format. Hey, audience, every weekend, every time we show you a fight, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. It's going to be action-packed. And in fact, we'll even reward the losers of the fight, so long as they come to fight. And did that not get proven? It's gotten proven every single weekend, all the way up to Zuffa Boxing 5. But think about it, right? You got Robert Merryweather, who made 50 grand on his first 8-rounder as a bonus, Clay.
No,
that was a bonus.
Oh, you're talking about this weekend, because this was his first 8-rounder.
I'm talking about on Sunday.
I thought you were talking about his last.
50 grand as a bonus. Not his check. As a bonus. And he lost, bro. He lost, right? So what does that tell you? If you're a young fighter and you're 20, 21, and you're fighting your first 8-rounder, and you know that there's a chance for you to get an extra 50 just for doing your best, hell, man, I want to go to that company, because that company orders people to fight. There isn't this weird A side, B side, and weird back end money. None of that, right? In comes in your question, Devin Haney. Well, Devin is choosing not to do a long-term 3-fight deal with someone like Eddie Hearn. He doesn't want that format. Right. He wants to be independent, very mom and pop style, right? Hey, kudos to you. Salute. But you got to read the ring. The market is the market. And currently, the market right now, we're seeing fights every weekend. We're seeing people like Robert Merryweather getting paid. I mean, the kid's already made 100 grand in just bonuses. Not his salary. Those are just bonuses, bro. He's just made it on bonuses. And he's fought a 6-rounder and an 8-pounder. Right? So, I don't know what Bill wants to do. You're the one that's always told me that Bill's a money guy. He's smart. He wants Devin to make the most money that he can. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that the PBC thing is not going to work. Devin's already said, or maybe he'll change his mind, but sounds like the whole Matchroom thing's not going to work. Frank Warren's all into heavyweight, so I don't see him. I don't see Queensberry working with Devin Haney.
Let me bring it full circle again, just to say that Devin's leverage that he brought to the table was the payday to these fighters, right? I always assume personally, and I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but me, I always assumed that what was going to entice fighters to fight Devin was going to be the payday, right? Like you could say whatever you want to say about Devin, as long as Turkey's sitting here being the financier, the guy behind Devin Haney, putting up the money, that would entice fighters to fight him. And now, you know, Turkey is hands off a little bit, right?
Yeah,
I don't know why.
But that's my point. Is he's hands off because the money is tied into what? Clay TKO, right? TKO is Zuffa. So what I'm trying to say is,
yeah, but he's still financing other fighters. He talks about
but it's a handful of fighters. And
right,
Haney
Devin was supposed to be part of that.
So again, what I was going to land my point on is I'm showing everybody right now, to some of you guys who are questioning, well, why am I saying these things? Because you guys, why don't you tell me where Devin Haney can go? Because I'm telling you all the places he's choosing not to go. He's choosing no deal with Eddie Hearn on the long term. Haney's not going to work with Golden Boy. So I already told you Queensberry's not dealing with him. So what's Devin Haney going to do? Is he going to go to Misfits Pro and get promoted by KSI? Is that what he's doing? Is he going to Most Valuable Promotions and getting promoted by Jake Paul? Right? Is that what you're doing? Because at this point, Zuffa, and I know some of y'all are hating on this. Look, hate on Bill Haney if you want to. Bill Haney said months ago when they asked him about Zuffa, he said, we want that belt too. Well, I got a proposition for you, Bill. I got one right now. Emmanuel Stanionis is the number 3 ranked Ring Magazine 147-pound champion. In order to win the lineal title, you've already beaten the number 1, but you're currently not the lineal champion. Number 2 is Brian Norman, who you already beat. So unless you want to do a rematch with him and work with Top Rank, your next best money option, Claymore, is to do something that Conor Benn's doing. Sign a 1-fight deal. Go ask Uncle Dana, right? Go fight Stanionis on a Zuffa boxing card. Win your Ring Magazine lineal championship so that you could finally set up a fight with Ryan Garcia later in the year. That's the answer to your question as to where Devin Haney can go. As to Turkey working with him, bro, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
If indeed Devin Haney, because right now with this Rolly Romero situation, listen, Turkey's hands off on that one. He's either not interested. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. What I'm noticing, if you guys want me to read the ring or read the room or read the space, however you want to call it in this moment, it seems like Turki ALALSHIKH is more interested in Ryan Garcia's career. It seems like he's more. It seems like the only reason why Devin Haney is even part of the conversation is because of Ryan Garcia, which puts Ryan Garcia in that A-side position that Ryan Garcia was talking about. And I know people say there is no A-side, B-side to Turkey, but there is an A-side, B-side when the only reason you're in the conversation is because of a fighter who's there. What made Devin Haney the A-side to all these conversations was the fact that I'm your ticket to a Turki ALALSHIKH payday, to a Riyadh season stage, to a Ring Magazine stage. That doesn't seem to be playing out that way right now in real time. Now, I know people can say, hey, don't worry about it. Turkey's got a plan. This maybe, but in real time, just dealing with what I've been seeing, Turkey's been talking about who he's gonna fight. I can find the tweet, pull it up here if you guys want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
He does
Show
not
it to them, bro. You know,
he doesn't mention Dana. He doesn't mention Devin Haney. He doesn't mention him. So, but he mentions Ryan Garcia. So he already got behind Ryan Garcia and paid for this fight with Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. He financed that event, that Ring Magazine event. That's how Ryan Garcia got paid. Now, the next chapter, you would say, is Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney 2, but Devin Haney wants these tests to be stringent. He wants it to be 365, or he wants to do, I don't know, he wants a different test than what the WBC is sanctioning, is mandating, or what Turkey is saying, or what Ryan's willing to do. And because of that, is there an argument there, or is there no argument to be made that Devin Haney is not going to do that fight unless Ryan Garcia agrees to do a certain kind of testing has Turki become tired of or done with dealing with that aspect of making that fight? And is he freezing Devin out until that fight gets made, until it makes sense? You know what I'm saying? Until he's like, yo, that's the fight I'm interested in. We saw what he did with Jaron Boots Ennis when it came time for Jaron Boots Ennis to make his fight. Usama Lima came up and Turki came up on the Boxing Voice, shout out to my guy Ness, and said, we don't do tune-ups. When you're ready to fight the big fights and the most competitive fights, come talk to me. And it was up to Eddie Hearn to make that fight happen. And even right now, at this moment, it seemed like Turki took his hands off of the Virgil Ortiz Jaron Boots Ennis fight, right? Like he's shown over and over again that he has a limit of nonsense, right? That he's willing to deal with. And once he hits that limit and he's decided that you're playing games and you're not cooperating and you're not willing to help him make the biggest fights, he cuts you off. He takes it personally. He's like, yo, I'm not even dealing with it. So is that what we're looking at happening in real time with Devin Haney right now? Are we looking at Turki ALALSHIKH taking his hands off of Devin? And if he's taking his hands off Devin, how is Devin going to make the big fights without the money behind him? Now, I'm hearing about Manny Pacquiao being a potential option, and I'm assuming because of that, that will be a Netflix bag, right? Netflix will get involved with that and give Devin Haney a bag. But at some point or another, is Devin Haney going to get forced into signing a multiple fight deal, multiple year or multi-fight deal with somebody, whether it's Eddie Hearn or anybody else? Or like what happens without Turki? Because Turki was the point of contention as far as Devin Haney being a money man or not. He's no longer getting no big bags from Matchroom and Top Rank, because they were doing that, right? They were cutting him big bags of money. The rumor is the profits were never there. They didn't make the money. Devin got the big bag, got the big upfront money, but they never got the payback, which is why the PBC is probably approaching Devin Haney that way as well, right? On top of the fact that they probably don't even have the ability to do it, but their point of conversation is going to say, eat what you kill, because just like the PBC has earned a reputation with these networks, right, of getting all this upfront money, paying out and not making the networks money. It seems like that's why I said to you the other day, Devin's kind of earned a PBC reputation about himself as far as promises of back-end money, because I'm going to sell, then we pay you all this upfront money, then we don't necessarily make that money back the way, and you end up, and then not only do we not make the money, but you bounce. You don't even stay around for 2-3 fights. You bounce and you go somewhere else, and you don't even give us an opportunity to make the money back, to make a fight, to, let's say, make the money back. That's why Eddie Hearn is standing on his position the way he is, right? Where he's like, look, I'll give you a Lewis Crocker fight, but you got to give me 3 fights. You got to give me a deal that allows me to make money off of you, because the amount of money I'm going to have to pay you to fight Lewis Crocker and probably beat him, what are you going to do then? You're going to take the belt, you're going to take all the momentum, and you're going to go be independent, right? You're going to go take that somewhere else and try to get the money, and I'm going to be stuck. We're not doing that anymore, because I did that for you for years, and what did you do? I never got a chance to get in on the Ryan Garcia bag. I never got a chance to get in on the Lomachenko bag, right? I never got a chance to get on the Kambosos bag, because I had to let you go. Nobody wanted to work with me. I had to let you go to Top Rank. I had to let you go to Golden Boy. I had to let you do these things, and as soon as it became my turn to get money, you said, it's just business, bro. We're not fucking with you. And he ain't doing that anymore.
Right. I mean, look, yeah. When people start to think that maybe you're hating on Devin Haney, all you're doing is stating facts, right? And it's a hard question to ask, because honestly, look, man, the biggest elephant in the room of it all is there's a war going on, and it's affecting Riyadh, and it's affecting the PIF.
And then that part.
Okay. So if Haney, I mean, maybe Haney isn't a favorite, but definitely you already saw, is Turki involved in terms of giving money to Xander Zayas and Boots Ennis? I don't think so. I think that's just a flat, regular DAZN Riyadh season deal.
Yeah.
I don't think Turki's doing an extra thing like he's doing for Conor Benn, as been stated by TKO. Hey, man, Turki's the one paying Conor Benn $15 million, right? That's what happened. Well, we don't see that yet on the Devin Haney side, which is why I'm saying if 60% of TKO is basically owned by Saudi and they're the ones funding Zuffa, then maybe he would get $15 million if he were to fight Stanionis on a Zuffa boxing card.
Maybe he would.
Maybe he'd have to bend the knee, bro. He'd have to bend the knee and say, I'm in on Zuffa too.
Maybe
Right?
he would, maybe he wouldn't, because I think there's an argument there to say that even Dana White might be on the. I know what you do. The PBC has. I'm telling you, there's a reputation, and I would like to know. It's just a question: how much money has been made off of Devin Haney? How much money has really been made?
How much profit is what you're asking? How much profit?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
In comparison to the absorbent high upfront money that he's been getting in the space. And shout out to Akeem Blake, who's saying that Bill has a track record. Yes, he does, but it's like a season. The PBC had a track record. They had a track record for paying their fighters the most upfront money, getting people rich. David Benavidez, Gary Russell, Gervonta Tank Davis, Errol Spence, fighters, Caleb Plant. These fighters have been on record saying that the PBC paid me the most money ever, saying that the PBC was the best place. They have high accolades and high admiration for Al Haymon and the PBC. But what have the networks walked away feeling like? And what the networks have walked away feeling like by watching how the PBC is struggling on getting investors to put money into them to put together the biggest fights. Be honest with yourself. I'm not hating. I'm just giving some real honest perspective. If you got some pushback you want to give me that makes sense, feel free to, right? But the PBC was in the same situation as Devin Haney. At one point in time, the PBC just said, give me, and they gave it to him. Showtime, we need 100, whatever the bag was, they did, and they did what some people feel like was the right thing, which was they paid their superstars the highest bags, right? They paid Errol, all those guys, but the lower guys had a different story, right? But the highest guys got the biggest bags of money, which is what built that reputation, which is what they used to leverage to pull all those fighters from Golden Boy during that time, right? That's what they did. But in the long run, if you're going to be honest with yourself, why is the PBC struggling right now with an Amazon deal where Amazon is refusing to cross that line? They're like, we're fucked. This is how we're messing with you on the distribution level. We are not giving you a budget. Why? Because of the track record. So Devin Haney pretty much hit that wall on the back end of that Ryan Garcia fight, right? Not only did they hit, but let me tell you guys something. Not only did they hit that wall, because some people might say, oh, it's because he lost. Not necessarily. It was also based off the back end money that was received on the fight. Remember when Bill tried to get at Oscar De La Hoya and said, we want to see the books because they weren't getting the money, and Oscar had to tell him, right? Hey, bro, you can look at the books. Ain't no money here, bro. We didn't make the money back like you think we made it back. We didn't sell as much as you think we sold. The pay-per-view didn't go hard like that. We didn't do as well as you think we did. So what did Top Rank say? Yeah, man, the numbers over there doesn't justify us giving you this kind of money. Eddie Hearn says, yeah, I would give you money, but without a doubt, I'd be going in the hole. Why would I go in the hole with a fighter who's not going to give me who's not going to give me the commitment so I can maneuver, work it out to get my money back for the company I work for, by the way, DAZN. So this is not millionaire Eddie Hearn putting up his money, not giving an F like, let's say, Turkey. This is about DAZN pulling Eddie Hearn into meetings over and over again going, hey, bro, so when are we going to make money off that? That's another bag we lost. When are we going to make money? Oh, no, I got this, man. I already talked to him. We already have an agreement. Once he does this, we're going to do that. Then Devin goes, nah, I'm not interested in doing that. Then DAZN goes, really, Eddie? Eddie. So now Eddie's looking at Devin going, yo, bro, I can't even play that game no more, bro. They're already on to you. They're on to us, you, whatever. They're already on to it. They're not playing that game no more. They're thinking long term now. Same thing that's happening with the PBC. No more kicking the can down the road. No more we're making money later on. Watch, we're going to build it up big, and you're going to get it all back in one huge sum at the 50th fight. Once we trust me. Meanwhile, up front, Al Haymon's in the mansion, right? All these fighters are living great, but the network is like, hands is itching like, I don't understand what I'm looking at, bro. These dudes is iced out driving around in Rolls Royces, living in fucking 35,000 square foot multi-million dollar mansions. And hey, bro, I know we rich, but we're not making the money of this. So they got out of the sport, which is what intrigued them about the whole entire Dana White Zuffa boxing model, because that model showed them a way for them to make money. So now you see Sky Sports back into it. You're seeing Paramount back into it. You see Netflix getting interested in it, but they're not interested in doing the work with the PBC. Why? Because of the track record, because of what they've earned, a reputation that they've earned for themselves. And my question, full circle, is, has Devin earned the same reputation in the space? Has Bill Haney and Devin Haney earned that same reputation? And now there's a whole different approach to how people are approaching them to do business. In Turkey, he's not caring about the money in, money out. He's not worried about the profits, but for him, it's more like, has he falling out of love with Devin Haney's boxing style? Is he not is interested anymore in? There's an argument there to say that, and you tell me what you think, Angelo. I'll send it right back at you. There's an argument to say that Devin Haney coasted in the Brian Norman fight, that we saw him show glimpse of the kind of fighting style that Turki wanted to see, but that when he had it in the bag, he did what we know he's earned a reputation of doing, which is being very defensively responsible, not overcommitting, and taking the win very early and coasting throughout the rounds, putting the onus on the back of Brian Norman Jr. to press it, to make it a fight, to do something. And Brian Norman, under the lights, after being knocked down, maybe he fell back a little bit and the fight became a little boring.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, no, look, you're not lying about it. And in fact, everybody says that, right? Like anybody who sits there, look, I can defend the Devin Haney strategy easier than most people. You've heard me say it. It's, if you're in a football game, it's an NFL game, and we're ahead by 50 points, I'm pulling my starting quarterback out. I'm pulling my starters out because there's no way this team's going to catch up to me anyways, right? Right. But in boxing, honestly, that's frowned upon. In boxing, you become the villain when you do stuff like that, and people want to see you lose, and people want to see you get beat up because you're not willing to fight. But more importantly, if you're putting together a show in front of the prince and the king of Saudi Arabia, and the person that's putting it together goes, "Oh, you will be very excited by Devin Haney," and Devin Haney gets a knockdown, and everybody at this point of the arena is going, "Oh, this is going to be a shocker. We're going to see a knockout, Claymore. This is going to be the coming out party to Devin Haney, the superstar. No longer the controversy about maybe he lost the Lomachenko fight. No longer the controversy about any of the other things that people say about Devin Haney who don't like him. Like, we like Devin Haney, but I'm just saying there's all that controversy, right? And then he knocks him down, and he's going to go for the finish. Not only does he not go for the finish, but the back half of the fight was Brian Norman chasing and Devin Haney doing the famous jab and grab, baby. Jab and
That's
grab.
what it looks like. I mean, Devin would argue that it was Brian Norman smothering. I think it was both of them, but I think at the end of the day, I'm questioning it. I know some people don't want us to question it, but this is a very interesting point of topic, both topics, right? Which is the PBC and their whole pay structure, but also Devin Haney struggling in real time to make fights. And we don't see Turki in there, who's supposed to be the guy who makes it easier, right? He's supposed to be the guy who steps in and just puts up the money, puts Devin Haney on a Riyadh card. And keep in mind that Devin Haney, for all intent purposes, with this great relationship he has with Turki ALALSHIKH, still hasn't had a headlined event from Turki, right? He's been on the undercard of David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. He's been on the
co-main
undercard
event of he was the co-main event in New York.
Right.
He was on the undercard of David Benavidez. You're right, Clay. I haven't seen him be the headliner yet, right? The main guy.
So you would think that off the strength of that, if Turki was dealing with Devin like that, off the strength of, let me give him his headliner card, his next fight would be locked in. Right. But what is Turki waiting on? He seems like he's waiting on a space he could put Devin in, and he's not comfortable putting him at the top of the headline. There was even arguments as to why Devin and Brian wasn't the headliner with David Benavidez, right? A lot of people felt like he should have been. I don't know if I would agree with that, but I can understand what people are saying, being that the Anthony Yarde part of it and him defending a title, whereas it seemed like the bigger fight. Even through the promotion and the buildup, it seemed like Devin Haney, Brian Norman was the fight, but they weren't the headliner. But why weren't they the headliner off the strength of that? It was just to see it be where we are in this present moment, Angelo, right now, just watching a negotiation fall apart in public, where it seemed like Devin Haney was getting, pretty much Devin Haney was getting treated like the B side, right? Like, that's what it came down to, where Rolly Romero was the A side, right? And he was the A side, because when it was all said and done, they allowed the fight to go away. Now Rolly's comfortable because what he was trying to duck, in my opinion, or trying to get away from, was the GIYASOV fight.
Which he's away from now.
He's away because GIYASOV and Catterall are fighting. So he don't gotta.
But to say that, though, you're the one that told me that unifications trump mandatories. Well, how can Rolly Romero how can Rolly Romero keep the WBA belt if he's not fighting another person with a belt?
Well, because here's the loophole, here's the gray area, and it's genius. And there's an argument to say that the PBC played it like this on purpose. They were negotiating a unification, so that got him out of the GIYASOV fight. GIYASOV and Eddie Hearn, off the strength of activity, took their foot off the gas and off the neck of the PBC. Said, okay, they're putting this unification fight together. We want our fighter to be active. They pen out a fight between them and Jack Catterall. That takes the pressure off of Rolly, because I would fight him now, but I can't. He's got a fight coming up. So now Rolly gets out of it in this little gray area, and his belt is no longer on the chopping block. Although I'm hearing rumors that he has to fight like a top 5, or he has to fight like the next mandatory. Like, he doesn't just get out of a mandatory situation, he gets out of the GIYASOV situation. So whoever's next up, he's supposed to fight next. I don't know who that is, but there's an argument there to say that Rolly's not uncomfortable with that, where he's like, hey, I'm cool with fighting another guy. I just ain't want to fight GIYASOV, bro. Right? The payday. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't want to fight GIYASOV. I'll fight the other dude. You know what I'm saying?
This all sounds terrible, bro. You're just, every time you say stuff like this, it just makes Rolly sound worse, bro. Come
it's
on,
the Wild Wild West, right? That's the difference between this space of boxing, which I call the N1 space of boxing. That's the difference between this space, to where fights have to be made. People have to agree on them on a business level. Nothing is ordered. So there's room for these loopholes, these huge holes in this side of the game, to where shit like this happens. Whereas on the other conversation, which is Zuffa boxing, there's very little space for that to happen, because the fighters aren't picking their opponents. They're being ordered to have opponents. Or they can turn down fights, but that doesn't help them out. That hurts their activity out. But at the end of the day, it's not like, yo, I'm calling out bada ba bing, bada ba boom. Nah, Zuffa staff and Dana like, hold on, let me see, bada ba bing, bada ba boom is the next fight for real. Hold up. Oh no, bro, that's not your next fight. Your next fight is actually bada bing, bada boom. That's who your next fight is. So yeah, that's a great fight. We can build up to it, but your next, the guy who's earned the opportunity to fight for what you have is next. That's not the case in the Wild Wild West, and we see this sharpest shit happen, right?
Right, and again, when in addressing the Zuffa, you're seeing it play out in real time right now with Zuffa's 126 and 135 division. You're literally seeing it. Like, they have so many fighters at 126 and 135, Claymore, that you're like, oh, okay, we're even making matchmakes right now. We're going, okay, that guy lost and that guy lost, so they're probably gonna have those two guys fight next, and then that guy won, and it starts to feel like a UFC brand, and you're almost like in all honesty, like Robert Merryweather III, he lost the fight, but I'm not even thinking about the fact that he lost, more so that it was such a good fight, and it was so great to see another talented young man coming from the Bay Area, Oakland, Anthony Hirsch, doing I think it was a plus 2,000 upset, bro, which is crazy, right? Put together such a good performance that now he's one of the people that everybody's going to look at on the Zuffa boxing roster, Clay. Same way Sugar Sean O'Malley became popular in UFC. Same way a lot of these guys become popular in the UFC. You show up, you bring your game, right? That now I almost like it's what happens to me in the UFC. Like, I'm not worried that Max Holloway lost, because I just love that the fight happened, and I can't wait to see that rematch play out in a year from now. Right? That rematch might happen in a 10-rounder, maybe even later this year.
You're talking about Merryweather and
Hirsch. Yeah. But my point being, that's what's happening to all those fighters when you look at the roster. You could play these games. You could sit there and go, oh, yeah, no, Rayo versus Magsayo might actually be a pretty good one for International Fight Week, July 12th, right? Or you're starting to, oh, yeah, you know what? McRory lost, but I can see McRory on a Sky Sports fight, and maybe so-and-so could fly to Ireland to fight McRory, you know? So it makes it more fun, the league style that you're talking about. And yeah, man, I don't know what to tell you about the Bill Haney PBC thing. All I care about is watching great boxing. We're seeing it for everyone right now. So, you know, I hope Devin gets it together. But honestly, Clay, for me, if I was Devin, I'd just be like, how much is Dana going to give me to go get this lineal championship? Right? Because to be the man, you got to beat the man.
I think it's definitely on the table. And you know, one thing about the Haneys is they're about the paydays, so I'm sure that's being entertained 100%. The thing about Devin Haney is, at the end of the day, it's about the biggest fights. It's about the biggest paydays. And I don't know. I think, like, you know, is the question is Devin Haney, is DHP the PBC of the boxing space as far as fighters are concerned? Have promoters jumped out of putting their money in that bag? Are they not? Because if the payday was there, he should be getting bombarded with opportunities, because everybody wants to make money, but it seems like everybody's not doing that. And then, you know, there was the Turkey situation represents a season. And if Turkey's not involved in it, I'm telling you guys, before that Turkey situation, he was about to be on BLK Prime. This is a fact. He was literally, you can pull up the tweets of him saying that everybody's trying to lowball me, nobody want to pay me, and that's what he blamed on Ryan Garcia. I'm telling you guys, I'm not hating, bro. I like Devin. If you guys want to all of a sudden turn into that, that's fine. I hope in due time you'll realize that, yo, Clay ain't a hater, bro. I'm giving you, please contest what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will admit it. I will tell you guys, like, yo, oh, my bad. I didn't know that. But I'm telling you, from my understanding, on the back end of that Ryan Garcia fight, Devin was trying to make a fight happen. And he was trying to make a fight in particular happen with Sandor Martin. Guys, do your Googles. And he was getting lowballed. Eddie Hearn did not put a bid in. He put a low bid in there. Top Rank put a bid a little higher than him. And Devin was like, I can't believe this. He was like, they're trying to blackball me. They don't want to pay me. Right? So he says, I'm taking a year off. He vacates his WBC title that he won off Regis Program and takes a year off because he's so disgusted. Right? And then he comes back and Turkey puts him in the conversation and he's back. We're like, oh, it's over with. Because even if you wanted to take the point on the argument, Angelo, and say, oh, they just hating on him. They just trying to play him because of what Ryan did. They're taking Ryan's back, right? They're supporting Ryan and they hating on Devin. It was like, okay, maybe they are, but fine. Turkey came in. So it didn't even matter no more. The story disappeared about how he was getting ready to fight on BLK Prime. It didn't matter no more because Turkey was paying. But now it looks like Turkey has taken his hand off of him. And now he's back where Turkey left him, which is nobody wants to give this guy money. And the best thing he could find was back-end money with no upfront money from the PBC. And the PBC realized it and said, yeah, we'll do it, but 50-50. And he's like, what? 50-50 with Rolly? Just read the room, read the ring, tell me something different, help me out here, give me the piece that I'm missing so I can get my shit together and not be
honestly,
talking like
bro. Honestly, and again, the channel's been very supportive of the Haneys, but the only person you could really have this conversation with, honestly, Clay, is if Bill would like to show up, man.
Right.
Bill one day would just like to show up, and
I mean, he's gonna show up and he's gonna twist it and turn it. He's gonna cook me, and I probably would get cooked because he's so good at it, bro. He probably flipping into some.
Maybe not though. Maybe I don't know, man.
You never know. I'm not upset at that.
I'm just saying. Like Bermudez thought he could come into the channel and cook a certain co-host, and he got cooked bad. So
listen, man, Bill is very good at what he does, man. I got a lot of respect for Bill, man. I do, man. And I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, I got so much respect for Bill, but I do have questions. And I'm just being honest on the questions, bro, because I don't understand what I'm looking at. And I think if you're a Devin Haney fan or supporter, you got to be asking questions. It's got to get to a point where you got to be like, what the hell's going on? And how many, if you guys have not asked where Turkey is, I don't know what planet you've been on. You know what I mean? It's got to be, where the hell is Turkey? When it came to Devin, it's supposed to be about Turkey. So, you know what I'm saying? And brother, I think that there's a part of that to where Ryan Garcia statements is aging like wine to a certain degree. He is holding the weight. He is the A side. He's letting Devin know. You know what I mean? When Devin had to hear that, and Devin was like, I don't even know why he's saying that. There is no A sides. Well, maybe there is. Maybe there is an A side. Maybe maybe you're not acknowledging the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is Turki ain't in business with you the way you think he is. Right? Maybe he's not in business with you the way you think he is. Because I'm sure you can argue that he is in some business with you, because I heard there's a 3-fight deal and things of that nature and how these things might play out. Maybe he is to a certain degree, right? But maybe he's not in it the way you thought he would be, because it would seem as if he was in business with you, that we shouldn't be watching you floating with no fights. And the one fight that I'm hearing about is a potential fight that you might be dealing with is not a Turki fight. Again, a Manny Pacquiao fight on the back end of Manny Pacquiao and his relationship with Netflix. You understand what I'm saying? You understand?
I mean, that's more of a Floyd getting sued thing now, but sure, man.
Bro, whatever. I'm just saying it ain't off you. It ain't Netflix calling you up. It ain't like Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua and you know what I'm saying? All but when fights, when networks and people with money want fights to be made, they put the money up. They're showing it over and over and over again. Dude, Zuffa Boxing just gave Conor Ben $15 million off the strength, and they're putting him in there with Regis Prograis, a fighter you already beat. And I just say that off the strength of when they want to, they do. That's all I'm saying, right? I'm just saying when they want to, they do. Even off the strength of what you said, to provide him an opportunity with Zuffa, you have him calling Dana.
Okay.
That's your best bet. That's all you got for him is like, hey, bro, get that man's number and call that man up and see if that man want to do you a favor.
So what you're essentially saying, or the question that you're asking is, it seems to the space that Devin Haney has become Tom and all the other promoters have become Jerry. They're like, nah, bro.
The real Debo. You're not just the Debo with the fighters, you're the Debo with the promoters. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just Debo. You ain't Debo with the fighters. You Debo with the promoters, with the money at this point. I don't think you want to be Debo with the money. You don't want to be scaring the money away. You don't want the money running in the back of houses and shit, down alleys and shit, trying to get away from you. That's just not a good look. It is what it is, man. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just calling it. I'm just calling it the way I want to call it. I'm not, shout out to Devin. Shout out to Bill. I swear, I'm telling you, bro, but I got a responsibility to speak truth. I'm sorry. That's what I do. And that's why I fans come and go, right? Because they love me one day when we're talking. But as soon as I have a conversation like this, I'm going to have a whole narrative. Oh, you see?
Well, I mean, this is honestly, if this was a read the ring conversation, there'd probably be thousands of people chiming in on it, because you're stating a fact. And really not even a fact. The question is the fact. Does that make sense? Right? It's a valid question that should be asked, right? So when Bill Haney goes on any of the spaces that he feels comfortable going on, Clay, do you ever wonder why they don't ask him that question, the very question you're asking?
Yeah, but I mean, there's a good chance they're not thinking of it, but also they don't want to burn the bridge, right? They want the access. You know what I mean? There's an argument to say that talking like I talk doesn't help me get access to a Bill or Devin, but I mean, at the end of the day, I ain't got access to them anyway. So what do I care? But even then, it's like I'll be scared to have access to fighters. That's why I salute to Robert Merryweather for popping up in the chat today and saying what's up, because we about to talk about Zuffa Boxing, and Robert Merryweather lost, and we're gonna talk about it. And there's some boxers and managers and trainers who don't want you to say nothing. You know, you can't say nothing negative about their fighters, no matter how respectful you try to be. So that's why these guys carry it that way when Bill's on this, because he's a legitimate needle mover. Bill's the type of person who will show up to a show 5 times in a row and get 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers on that show in about a week and a half. He'll do it. He can do it. I've seen him do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why these guys won't ask him that question. They won't confront the elephant in the room. They're going to look at it like, I'm going to be doing something Bill doesn't want me to do. But I mean, I can't.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think that the reason why the channel ATP Combat Media, thank you for liking it. By the way, everyone, we're giving you a longer show than normal today. Thank you for all of you who are subscribing, but it's the fastest growing channel right now. Is I think a lot of the casual sports fan base is finding us. A lot of the UK guys is finding us. A lot of the Australian people are finding us, and they're just listening to good old boxing conversation. And you're asking a fair question. And again, are we fair with all of these fighters? Very fair. In fact, I don't even reveal some of the private conversations I'm having with some of these guys who do call us, but we support them because we want to see them doing well. We want to, I mean, look, man, I was speaking with Irvin Fuller's people just yesterday, and I was just letting them know, you know, everything's good. People get knocked out. The young man was 12-0 going into a fight. And sure, on paper, it looks like he was upset. But when you come to the league, you find out where your level is in the league, right? It's different than fighting in club shows. It's different than fighting. And you know, Clay, I used to say this all the time when I was coaching people, training people at the gym. And I would always say, guys, there are built fighters, and then there are developed fighters. In this gym, what we do is we develop you. If you want to go somewhere else, though, and you want to get built and you want to get your wins, that's not necessarily going to develop you, man. It's up to you. It's up to you on what you want to do, right? And at the end of the day, Clay, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that about Irvin Fuller. What I am saying about the young man, Irvin Fuller, is I also saw a young man who was 18-0, who was the talk of the town. He was filling out arenas already before he was even a world champion, and he got knocked the hell out in front of his own people. And I'm talking about Amir Khan, bro. Amir Khan got knocked the hell out by Brettis Prescott. He was 18-0. It looked like everything was bad. And you know what Amir Khan did? Came to Wildcard Gym and saw us, right? Freddie Roach was right there. Next thing you know, he wins like 8-9 in a row, wins some world titles. So Irvin, the good news about Zuffa boxing is you do not live in a space in where they're going to throw you away, because you possibly could be the knockout of the year, but you're on the receiving end of knockout of the year, right? Not only is Zuffa boxing not going to back away from you, Zuffa boxing is going to support you. And they want to see you get back on the horse as long as your medical is clear, right? Wasn't it just 2 weeks ago, Clay, that we watched Macy Barber get knocked down and choked out, knocked out and choked out? It's all over viral. Has anyone from the UFC not supported Macy Barber, bro? They're supporting her hell, like totally, right? So same thing here. In this space, in the Zuffa boxing space, all fighters, you just got to show up to fight. And yeah, Rob Merryweather, I don't even remember that he lost, bro. I just remember that he got 50 grand and it was a hell of a fight and he won fight of the night. You know, the scorecards say he lost. Well, two of them did. One of them said it was a draw. So,
which wasn't.
Well, you know, it's what it is. You know what? I think that Rob Merryweather, the young man that he is, he's smart enough to know that he got caught up in the Abdullah Mason disease.
Appetite for smoke.
Yep. He got caught up in it. He wanted to knock a dude out, and sometimes you don't got to do that. And shout out to Jaleel Hackett and Coach Bernard Hackett, because on their Zuffa boxing debut, they made an agreement. Jaleel told him, I think I can knock this guy out, right? Told his coach and dad, I think I can knock this dude out. His dad says to him, what round? Jaleel's like, I think I can knock him out in the 5th. And he goes, okay, I'm going to give you till the 5th round. But after the 5th round, if you don't knock this dude out, I'm in charge and you have to do everything that I say. So that's exactly what Jaleel did. He went in there with his game plan, bop, knocked dude down, super exciting. The crowd is going crazy. And then Bernard was like, well, you didn't do it, so you gotta listen to what I'm going to say. And what did we get to see? A new side of a Jaleel Hackett that many people didn't see, that he can box, that he can actually sit there and make the jab work and do lateral movements and L steps and whatnot, right? So I got to see two versions of Jaleel Hackett in one fight. Now I'm excited to see his next fight, which I can't say nothing about yet, but I'm sure it'll be announced here when they're ready to say it. But it's going to be a very exciting fight against a very good opponent. That's all I'll say. So yeah, Clay, I think Rob's going to be fine. I think
that being said, we can dive a little bit into this, into that Zuffa card, man, because that Zuffa card was, in my opinion, the best card that I've seen all year. But they had decent, good cards. This card was a really great card, man, and really showed the ability. What I loved about this card, before we go talking into it anymore, is that it showed what a bunch of quote unquote no names can do when good matchmaking is made, because the people who watched the fight here with us were super entertained. I find it hard to believe that real boxing fans watched that card and didn't walk away super entertained. And it showed the experience can out the experience can out what's the word I'm looking produce the experience can outperform a name, right? So in other words, a name in the game is interesting and intriguing, right? I'll give you an example and say Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, Devin Haney, all names hit it all over us. Cinco de Mayo weekend, right? Cinco de Mayo weekend in New York, right?
And that was a pay-per-view, by the way. Pay-per-view
and everything, right? Shitting on us. Those were names. But on Sunday night's card, I was about to say last night, 2 nights ago, Sunday night's card had no names. The biggest name on the card was probably Mark Messiah, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest name on the
world
card.
Champion to beat Gary Russell, but thank you.
Whatever, right? So that being said, the experience, the matchmaking was superb. The fighters wanting to fight each other and delivering it. Shout out to Robert Merryweather, right? Those guys gave us a card that we got to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Non-stop hitters on that card last night, as well as a knockout of the year candidate.
And it was 8 fights, guys. So if you guys have Paramount Plus, like me and Claymore, who watch the Yellowstones and the whatnot, right? If you guys have Paramount Plus, then you can feel free to go do the replay. 4 of the fights were in the prelims. 3 of the fights were in the main card. And some can argue that the prelims outshined the main card, Clay. The preliminary fights might have outshined the main card. Started with Troy Nash at 126 pounds.
Shout out to Troy.
He put on a jab clinic. Definitely a much better performance against Brian Rodriguez. And I think that on that fight, you kept asking the question, why is Brian not throwing more? He's closing into space, but why isn't he throwing more? And maybe the reason...
Brian.
Yeah, I think the way you pronounce it is Brian, but it could be Brian.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll say Brian, but then watch him come to the show and be mad. My name is Brian, sir.
That's in Mexico, bro. Here in America, Bryan is Brian every day of the week. I know a lot of Brians that have their name spelled that way, so excuse my confusion. I know a couple of Brians straight up spell their name just like that.
It's like Balake. A-Ron.
Yeah, it's like you guys. That's how you try to do it. It is what it is, man. It is.
But what I was saying that whole time when we were doing the call in the fight is Troy Nash is showing us what they call a Pez dispenser type jab, and it makes your head look like a Pez dispenser, and that's what was happening to Mr. Rodriguez. But you know what? Mr. Rodriguez loses a unanimous decision, which is fine, and Mr. Rodriguez is going to be right back. I wouldn't be surprised to see him fighting again either in June or July.
Well, I mean, that's a young bull right there, right? Like, so these are prospects. So, I mean, this dude came in the ring with 8 wins. He was undefeated, and Troy Nash, came in undefeated as well. Somebody's got to go. What I was happy to see was Troy Nash. Both these guys are prospects. Troy Nash, a prospect, was able to put, that pedigree he has on the big stage. You know what I'm saying? He had a fighter in front of him that was aggressive, who could have done, who had power. And he was able to manage that fighter with a good jab. He was able to put it together very well, bring that right hand, get that right hand involved in the fight. By the second, third round, he was shooting that right hand. He was attacking the body. He was using the real estate. He's using his footwork. Shout out to Brian Rodriguez, who was cutting the ring off so well, kept Troy Nash on the ropes. Like he was just playing the perimeter, was cutting that ring off, not allowing him to just use the real estate up. Troy Nash had to work his way, punch his way out of some situations, use that acumen to get out of some trouble sometimes. But did you give me a reason? So Brian Rodriguez didn't let the hand go because he had an injury or something?
No, you said that I don't understand. You kept saying, I don't understand why.
Right.
And I was telling you the reason why is because he's getting Pez dispensered, bro.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, there was the thing about with Brian Rodriguez that was throwing me off was he would get there. Like it's not like he was being held off. He was being domesticated. I like to use that word with a jab, but there were times where he slipped the jab and he got in there, and instead of letting his hands go, he'd allowed Troy Nash to smother him by tying him up. And it was just like, no, let your hands go. So I don't know if he was a little bit, if the lights were too big, dare I say that, inside of the apex, right? But something about
lights in the apex, though, bro. Like,
well, when I say the lights, I don't mean the physical lights, but I do mean the moment, right? I'm saying like the moment, the experience.
The moment's big at the apex, man. I was there. It feels like Riyadh. It feels like, hey, man, I gotta impress. I gotta really be impressive in front of all these people. And then the other thing I'll say, Clay, is in the apex, you hear the shots, bro. Like when they punch him, you can hear when it's a hard shot. So if we heard it and you're the one getting punched on, I'm sure you heard it too.
You know? Right. I mean, listen, it's part of the game. I don't have the answer to exactly what it was, but it did seem like his hands was in his pockets in moments where it didn't need to be. I think if he looks back at that fight and him and his team look back at that, they're going to say, damn, there were some opportunities in there for us. We could have done better than what we did. There was opportunities for us. Did you guys feel the power of Troy Nash? Did the power seem threatening or something where you became a little too defensively concerned? I don't know. But
well,
Troy Nash.
Can we address one more thing before we move on from the Troy Nash one? Patricia Morris Jarman, something got to happen with that score.
She was crazy. That was crazy that she had Troy Nash. And I think it was in a draw.
It was a draw.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yep. But I'm excited to see what Troy Nash does next. I love what I saw. I see the potential in Brian Rodriguez. I like what I see there. So I want to see him learn from this. And that's what these fights are about. I want to see him learn, and I want to see him make those adjustments, because I think inside of him is an explosive, exciting, aggressive fighter that really didn't do his skill set and his spirit any justice in that fight against Troy Nash. Right.
Then the next fight after that was Maravilla, who doesn't make the weight, right? And to be fair to Maravilla, I think he campaigned more so at 154. So then he has to cut to 147 or 148. He doesn't even make that. He ends up weighing at 149.5. A very game opponent comes in there, right? The dude was winning, bro. The what was his opponent's name again? I'm sorry, Elias Diaz. Yeah, Elias Diaz. Yeah. So Elias Diaz is winning the whole time, and even the scorecards reflected it. Elias Diaz had won all 4 rounds on 2 the judges' scorecard, and 3 was winning 3-1 on the final judges' scorecard. But Maravilla, bro, all it takes is one shot. And shout out to Wildcard for having your fighter come from behind. Now make a decision on what weight division he needs to be in.
Yeah, he has to figure it out what he's gonna do. Shout out to Attorney Bailey. I want to speak to this statement he made here because I thought it was significant. Attorney Bailey says skill set develops at different phases. 100%. Zuffa, you have to be ready now. 100%. No time for development. I disagree with that part. Great for fans, but may hurt fighters. I disagree with that part, and I'll explain to you why. It would have been different if Brian Rodriguez was in the ring with a 20-0, 20-1, 15 plus, a fighter who had more professional fights in him, but he didn't. And matter of fact, Robert Merryweather had less professional fights than Brian Rodriguez, who came in with an 8-0 record, right? The reality is there's a give and take here with your theory, in my opinion. And the give and take is that, yes, fighters do develop in different phases, but fighters develop with competition. You see, the thing about the current boxing space is that fighters get artificially flavored. When they don't fight the correct level of competition, they actually don't develop. What they develop is fans. They develop a fan base. They develop notoriety in that way, but they don't develop as fighters, which is why you'll see an Edgar Berlanga look the way he did when he got in the ring with the Hamza Shiraz, right? Because he didn't develop over the years because the competition artificially flavored had the fan base excited about Edgar Berlanga being this guy who's knocking everybody out in the first round. But the truth is he didn't walk away with the real development from those fights. So it's a balance. It's a balance in between it. You got to find it, but the reality is the test is in the ring. The test is where fighters develop. There's an argument to say that when you look at a Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, for example, when they got in the ring with each other, you saw Terrence Crawford, a fighter who faced some adversity, who faced so many different styles he had to develop, right? Even with him being shot in the back of his head when he was younger, and that was adversity, but also that's not the example I wanted to use, though. That was adversity. His arm being broken, forcing him to box with his left arm, with his left hand, being a right-handed fighter naturally. You see how that affected him as him becoming a switch hitter who fights better from the southpaw position than he does from his natural orthodox position, right? That's because of what he went through inside the ring. That's why I told Robert Merryweather earlier, I said, your son is going to become a better fighter because of that fight he had with Tony Hirsch. Yes, it's an L on his record, but the experience is priceless, and I think it's going to pay out dividends later on in his career because the kind of competition he fought makes him a better fighter than a guy who's maybe going to jump in the ring with him, who's undefeated with a high knockout ratio, but whose opponent's been hand selected for him to look that way. He's going to be the grittier, tougher, more experienced fighter, and he's going to bring that edge to him as long as he's processing it the right way, which I'm very confident they are. He's going to bring that edge to him into these fights, his future fights, and that leverage is going to play out in spades. It's going to pay out. So I disagree. I don't think that in Zuffa you have no time for development. On the opposite side, I believe in Zuffa it's all about development. It's all about the fighters challenging themselves, forcing them to become better fighters. And like Dana says, if you have an undefeated fighter over here at Zuffa, he's going to be a fighter who earned it, and he's going to mean something. Whereas in another place, an undefeated fighter with a bunch of O's, it doesn't mean nothing because they're being moved the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, Attorney Bailey, look, listen, I'm not sure if you watch the UFC, but currently right now, pound for pound is Ilia Topuria. He's undefeated, but go look at his UFC record and all the killers he's had to fight to become undefeated. So the narrative is shift in where here's Justin Gaethje who has to fight him on the White House card. A lot of people think Justin Gaethje is going to lose, right? And I think that's the point of what Zuffa's trying to do. Is they're trying, and it's not even about your record more so than your fighting style and how you could always be someone who can show up and fight, right? Just show up and really show us what your skill level is. You have X amount of contract to prove to us that you're worth the extension. So yeah. So, and by the way, Clay, Troy Nash, I think that's the second of 3. So I don't know if he's going to do the extension. But his next fight's going to be even harder than Brian Rodriguez or Brian Rodriguez, however he wants to pronounce it.
100%, right? But shout out to Attorney Bailey. He says you can move a generational fighter, and that fighter mentality will catch up with the skill set. And then he says right here, and it will balance out. One fight can take you backwards. I understand what you're saying as far as the adversity is a mental stress. It is a mental adversity. It's something for them, but the strong will survive, right? We don't know, and we can't read, and we can't. When I think of a Gervonta Tank Davis, or I think of his development has been great as far as his boxing skills is, right? But mentally, there's an argument there to say he's weak, right?
Yeah.
That he's not able to deal with real adversity because he's been coddled too much. So we don't know what these fighters are going to do until you put them in front of the reality, right? You can't shelter or hide or coddle a fighter into his best version of himself. Pressure makes diamonds, not right. Diamonds don't just sit inside of a room with no pressure and just become diamonds. There's something that causes that piece of coal to turn into a diamond. Fighters can't be scared of that O. An O doesn't mean that you're getting treated, that you're becoming the best fighter. It's all about that resume. It's all about the challenges, man. And that's why we gotta celebrate these fighters when they down. That's our job. If we care about their mental space, and our job is to let those fighters know that we're still here to support them, that what just happened to them has happened to the best fighters in the history of the sport, that Muhammad Ali lost, Sugar Ray Leonard lost, Marvelous Marvin Hagler lost, Tommy Hearn lost, Roy Jones lost, Mike Tyson lost, Lennox Lewis lost. I can go down this list forever. All these guys took L's. Being undefeated isn't what makes you great. It's how you bounce back. It's the bounce back. It's the development. It's how you look at your 35th, 40th professional fight when you bring in that priceless experience that you can't get outside of earning it in the ring.
Right. And speaking of bouncing back, that second fight is a great example. Jorge Maravilla, who was an undefeated fighter, heading into the fight, was a super heavy favorite. Didn't even make the weight. He was 149.5. He was supposed to, at the very least, make 148, fighting a 15-win, 3-loss Elias Diaz. Elias Diaz is beating him 4 rounds to 0 on 2 of the judges' scorecards, 3-1 on the other one. He was definitely from behind. And what did he do in the 5th round, Clay? Knock his ass out. Came from behind to win by knockout. So is Maravilla a fighter now, Attorney Bailey, that's not going to be developed? Like, if anything, he just showed that he can survive adversity. And same with Elias Diaz now, right? You're muted, by the way, Clay. I don't know why your mic's not working. Oh, he's on the phone, guys. Sorry. All right. So with that said, there's that fight. I don't know how Clay enjoyed that fight. I'm going to wait for him.
Which one? The Maravilla, the Elias Diaz?
Yeah, the Maravilla Diaz.
That was a great fight. You know what I'm saying? A great test for Maravilla. Oh, what's his name again? I wanted to say Maravilla, right? Jorge Maravilla. A great fight, man. But a fight where he was being outclassed. You know what I'm saying? He showed, power is boxing. So punching, a punch can change the whole direction of the fight. And that's what happened with Elias Diaz, who was really putting on a masterclass, really just using the complete real estate, great movement, great shot selection, was winning every single round. Jorge was able to land that shot. Elias Diaz wasn't able to get it back. The legs just wouldn't get back. I think there was a knockdown that I thought should have been a knockdown that might have helped him get out that round, where the referee just knocked it a push down. But hey, man, it's part of the game, right? The referee saw it as a push down. I thought he would have benefited off a nice 8 count, would have given him some time to really kind of get it together and maybe use some movement to make it out the round at least, because in a fight like that, it's significant, right, Angelo? Because you would have definitely lost the round. You already lost the round because you got knocked down, but if you're able to get it back, you're arguably still winning the fight. Even with the knockdown, all you got to do is manage the next couple of rounds, and you could walk away with a victory and some experience. That 8 count would have been valuable to him, right? And maybe even if he would have took a knee, even, right? If he would have took a knee.
Do the Gervonta Davis. Something got my eye.
Yeah, take that knee and, you know what I mean, recover, look at that clock and be like, let me see how much time we got on that clock. I'm going to take a knee. I'm going to knock out 8 seconds, 10 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm going to use every bit of time I have. But that takes a little bit of being honest with ourselves, right, Angelo? Like, you got to be honest with yourself and be like, I'm hurt. I am hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Losing this round anyway. Let me just take a knee.
Take a knee. Get up out this round. Get some cold water thrown on my head. Get somebody to massage my legs, stretch my legs out, and smack my legs and get my legs together. And let's see if I can come back into this round with some fresher legs and see if we can, manage the rest of the. Maybe I can even turn up in a round or two. I could turn back up, but at least let me get some time. But he didn't do that. He lost the fight. Maravilla gets to walk away with a victory, but also a lesson. I'm going to be more so impressed about what he does in his next fight, because you got the victory, but you lost on the scale. Right. And you lost on your professionalism. Right? Yeah,
no, absolutely. And then the biggest upset of that whole night, again, plus 2,000 at one point, is Oakland's own from the Bay. Yee!
Tony Hirsch Jr.
It's Anthony Hirsch, Tony Hirsch, 7-0, 2 draws, I think it is. Going in there with the undefeated 12-0 Robert Merryweather III. We call him King. Great fight of the night. Both fighters earned $50,000 on top of their regular salary with Zuffa. Great fight. Ended up being a majority decision win for Anthony Hirsch. And what I kept saying during our watch party, if you guys were with us during that time, is Tony Hirsch was giving me the Vernon Forrest vibes. I'm not saying he's Vernon Forrest now. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, if he continues to develop, we could be seeing sort of a Vernon Forrest type of fighter at 135. So I liked it. I liked what I saw. What did you think of that fight overall? Like, how did you see it?
The best fight of the night, hands down, the best fight of the night. Tony Hirsch showed that, he could be disciplined and show that poise. I don't know who he is, so I don't know mentally. Sometimes fighters like that get it, because that was a big victory for him, because he came in the underdog, was an opportunity for him, and he showed and he proved. So sometimes that goes to a fighter's head, and all of a sudden they go in a different direction, right? But off what I saw that night, good stuff to build on, man. Great lead hand, one of the best jabs I've seen in Zuffa so far. Was able to control a Robert Merryweather who's super athletic, super gifted, one of the best in my opinion, pound for pound fighters as far as a prospect is concerned inside that whole organization. I still believe Robert Merryweather has face of Zuffa boxing potential. Like he's sellable, good looking kid, got the crown. He has that pedigree, that skill set, brings that Shakur energy when he wants to. And he showed Sunday night that he can bring that
Abdullah
Mason energy, right? That he can bring that energy when he wants to as well, right? So he shows he's got the grit, he shows he's got the dog, but now uses experience to say there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes yeah, Robert King, here's what we're gonna say. Sometimes, bro, it's okay to do to Devin Haney,
yeah. It's okay. You went for it in the first 2 rounds, and it's okay to be like, I got a dog in the ring. I got a dog, and he's strong, and he's not trying to just go away. So I might be down 2 rounds to nil right now. I might be down 2 rounds. If not, it's a round up. We 1 round apiece. Be humble enough to accept that and be like, I didn't win those last 2 rounds. Maybe I won one of them, but I didn't win both of them. I might have to make sure that as I'm putting on this performance, that I'm also winning rounds, because if it goes down to the decision being made, I want to be on the right side of the judge's decision. So that experience, because he was getting off. Robert Merryweather's getting off. Pause. Right?
Oh man, bro, he was hitting him to the body. The fact that Anthony Hirsch was able to take those body punches, I'm like, bro, what kind of Pilates is this guy doing? Great
body work, great combination punching. Great work not letting him push you back. I understood you didn't want to go backwards, and you tie him up at times, and you were physically imposing yourself on him, and he was doing the same thing. But ultimately, that fight turned into a boxing match, and that's what you do. And he became the boxer, and you became the puncher. You became the fighter, and you kind of lost that intangible you bring that separates you from 9 out of 10 people you get in the ring with. You left that alone and became somebody else. Something to learn from. I love the fight of the night. I believe they got the fight of the night accolade. So we got another bonus bag,
That's what I said. 50,000. And again, Robert Merryweather's going to be just fine, bro. I'm sure he'll fight as probably International Fight Week, July 12th is what I'm thinking. That he'll end up fighting in. He's a Vegas kid. He's great. And we got a new prospect star. I really like Anthony Hirsch, bro. I like everything about him. From Oakland, he was very humble when he did the interview. I'm all in with Anthony Hirsch. We're going to try to get him on the channel too, right?
Is Tony short for Anthony, or is his name Tony?
Yeah, it's short for Tony. Tony is short for Anthony.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. But Tony Hirsch, man, we're going to work on getting him on the channel too. But I like him. He's from the Bay, from Oakland, and I'm sure they're going to end up seeing each other later. There's going to be a get back moment.
As long as one way or another, whether it's at Zuffa or somewhere else, they're gonna cross lanes because they're in the same weight division. I hope they stay at Zuffa though and continue to move forward, but we'll see.
Yeah, continue to develop that way. And then probably you keep saying it's the knockout of the year, so we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I ain't the only one.
I got people who co-sign me right now, bro.
I got people who co-sign me too, though. I got a lot of UK people that co-sign me.
Did they see the knockout though? Or they just
man, if you showed the people right now the Crolla knockout side by side with the Alexis de la Cerda knockout, I bet you more people are gonna say the Crolla knockout.
I don't think so. Hold on a second now, man. Hold on, man. I don't know about that,
you'll find out. Well, you with the William Crolla knockout, Byrne was shaking on the ground, bro. That's a knockout of the year.
Oh, that dude was eating the canvas, but he got rug burns, bro. He got rug burns on his forehead, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that was the main event of the preliminary card. It was a scheduled 8-rounder at 126 pounds. Alexis de la Cerda, who's a part of Rayo Valenzuela's team camp, took the fight on a 2-week notice, went in there as the underdog to the previously unbeaten 12-0 Irvin Fuller the third, coming from the DC area. And man, big moments require big opportunities and big results. And wow. Did Alexis de la Cerda, which we played his post-fight conference. I really like the kid a lot too. We're going to try to get Alexis de la Cerda on the show. Good kid. But yeah, he was talking about how he was just kind of baiting him in, waited for that perfect overhand right, threw that overhand right. Kind of reminded me of when Sergio Martinez caught Paul Williams, and the way Irvin Fuller took the shot and fell. It was just a perfect shot, man. It was just a perfect shot, Claymore. So great knockout. Certainly a knockout that should be celebrated, but knockout of the year? Nah, bro, nah. Knockout of the year is still William Crolla over Glenn Byrne, Matchroom. This is knockout of the year right here, y'all. This is the knockout of the year.
Here. Beautiful. Bang. Woo! Good night, Irene. Look, great knockout, man. That was on
shaking,
Friday.
Clay. He's shaking.
That was on Friday. Beautiful knockout.
That was on Friday.
Hold on. Let's take it back again. Let's catch it again. Hold on. Let's go back.
Yeah, make it bigger, bro. Make it bigger. Can you make it bigger?
It's a short. So boop, 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 boop. Boop. Big left hand. Big left hand.
Now watch.
He was trying to get up. He wasn't necessarily shaking.
Nah, he's shaking, bro. Come on. His head is moving and his body's not. Come on, bro.
He's trying to get up and he can't. He's unconscious. He's not necessarily shaking. I didn't see shaking. I see like he just his head was reacting and his body wasn't following suit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, I want to get up, but my legs and my arms and everything is dead. I can't do it. So here comes the other knockout right quick. I'm going to show y'all the other knockout, man. This is what it's all about right here, baby. This is knockout of the year. I'm about to show y'all right here, baby.
Okay. Hey, all I know is Irvin Fuller did get up. So they had to take Byrne in a stretcher, bro.
No, they chose to because Byrne was raising his arm. He didn't want to. He didn't want to get out in the stretcher. Hold on. Woo! Come on, man. Come on, man.
They're going to show the replay, Clay. Let it play. They'll show the replay of it.
Oh, Lord, child. Come get him. Mama.
They're going to show the replay. Let it play itself out. They're going to show the replay.
No, I don't want to let it play because there's too much time on the I gotta be careful.
Because the slow motion angle is the better angle.
Oh, I'll find it. Hold on. Let me just one more time. Whoop, whoop. Up, under. Yeah. Whoop. Yep. Woo! Oh, Lord, child. Mama, get off me. Hold on. Let's see here. Here we go. Hold on. Let's go find the slow motion. Woo! Oh my God. Forehead to the ground. Scrape. Lay still. Booty in the air. Booty in there. Set up. You like to throw that left hook? I see you like to throw that left hook up. Oh, Lord, child. Ah, damn. Oh, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Lord, child. Oh, my goodness, man. It is what
all
it
right,
is.
just to be fair for our UK fans, because we got a couple of them here that even know the Crollas. All right, let's show the Crolla one more time, bro.
Okay.
That dude was shaking. All right, make it bigger, too. Bigger.
I gotta find. There's no bigger. There's no more bigger. That's the biggest. Like I gotta go find the full screen one if you want me to. I can go look for that. But let me see here.
For our UK, look at he's shaking, Clay. He's shaking, bro.
He's not shaking. He's trying to get up, man.
No, how you gonna get up when the only thing moving is your head, bro?
I'm just saying, in his head, you could tell like he's trying to get up. Like look at what he's doing. He's not shaking. He's trying to get up. Like he's just. I mean, look, it's a bad. He's unconscious. He's just reacting to it. It's not shaking. Like shaking is like,
bro, look at that. Look at how bad he's shaking.
That's not the knockout of the year, man. That's a good knockout.
That's a knockout of the year, bro.
I don't think the channel is. I don't think the people in this community is jacking that, man.
Hey, don't say that. We got last train to train. You're from the You're from the UK.
Last train. Who was it? Who? That's the one I want. Last train. Troll Trans. Who got the better knockout? Be honest. Don't be biased now. If you feel like it's Crow, fine. But come on, man. Let's be honest, man. That boy. Which one? Don't say yes, boys. No, don't keep going.
Which one do you like? Do you like the Crolla knockout or the De La Cerda knockout?
Come on, man. That De La Cerda knock. I mean, just keep it real. You want me to play it again? Give me the cue. You want me to play it again? I know if you close to the guy who got knocked out in UK, you might not want me to keep playing that dude just getting.
Oh, he's like, Don't do this, lads.
You got come on, you the tiebreaker. You the tiebreaker. I'm gonna play it again.
Last train. The trans.
Don't say nothing yet. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to rewatch it. Hold on now. Hold on. Let's just be. Hold on, Crawler. Here come Crawler. Hold on a second. Let me get it to Crawler. Here we go. Woo! Hold on. Let me play it a little bit. Hold on a second. Let's go back a little bit. Jesus, they calling people. I ain't gonna lie though. It was a medical emergency for sure. Hold on. Here we go. Whoop. Oh, help me, mama. Ah, damn, mama. Hold up. Let me pull up the other one now. Man. Let's just be fair. Hold on now. Alexis, show them how it's done, baby. Hold on, man. Let's get it right where it need to be. Right over here. This is where it's at. Let's go. Doop. Hold on. That ain't it. Hold on. Yep, there it is. Here it comes right here. What? Oh, mama. Mama. Which one was it, man? Come on now, last train. Don't disappear. I don't see you in the chat no more. Come on. Which one was it? Last train? I feel like last train's bowing out, man. I think she bowing out, bro. I think she bowing out of the conversation. You diabolical. I don't know, man. I think the Zufabach, she's staying out the way. You know why she's staying out the way? Let's be real.
Oh, look. Crolla wouldn't mind coming.
Thank you.
Oh,
It is what it is, man. Booty in the air. Yo, for a grown man, booty in the air is diabolical, bro. Nobody want their ass in the air, bro. That's just a pause moment. We in America, bro. We ain't jacking. It is what it is. But no, back to the fight just real quick, just to say that Alex De La Cerda, outside of that knockout, because a knockout, anybody can get a knockout, right, Angelo? Like, you could just get a lucky punch.
No. He planned it the whole way, which is what we like about it. If you were a part of our watch party, we kept pointing that out, that De La Cerda, who's coming from the same camp as Rayo Valenzuela, was doing a really good job. He was kind of leading him into it. He was setting the trap, and then when he caught him, it was extremely impressive. Very, very, very impressive young man. And I really liked his whole post-fight interview also, Clay. So beautiful setup. Having said that, Clay, again, we support everyone here. And like I told you, I was talking to Irvin Fuller's people yesterday. Irvin, listen, take a look at Amir Khan's career. Same exact thing happened to Amir Khan. The difference is Amir Khan really took the time to figure out what he wants to do in his early 20s, changed camps or figured out a way to get his win. And he went on like an 8 or 9 fight win streak, winning a world title or two during that run. So, just because you got knocked out that way, what I'll say is this, Clay, it's better to be that than to have been punished. Because as an undefeated fighter, like what happened to Amir Khan, Claymore, as an undefeated fighter, for you to already be getting sparked, well, the worst case scenario has already happened, man. So you don't even have to think about it anymore. You don't have to worry about protecting your row. You don't have to worry about, what would it be like if I ever became a meme? Well, look at how excited Claymore is over that knockout. So there you go, right? Like, you don't have to even think about it anymore. It already happened. So you just let it go, get back into the gym, train with some people, get some good mentors, and come out stronger. And you go get a knockout of the year on your next fight, right? Go work on your craft, and you go get knockout of the year. But the channel is going to support you, even when you're on the losing end of things. No problem. But Claymore's definitely very excited over that one. I still think Crolla's knockout of the year, but I get it. I'm being bullied today. I'll just
do a poll up there. There's a poll up there, you know what I'm saying? So, there's a poll up there. Go ahead and check that poll out. I believe it's up there right now. If y'all can see the poll. Damn, I can't see the poll. Hold on a second here. Let me see something.
You probably put it in the community.
No, it's on there. It's on there now. We good. Okay. The poll's right there.
So
right.
y'all go ahead and do the poll. So far, 5 votes in, 100% Alexis De La Cerda, but we'll let it keep going. 5 votes in so far. It's continuing to go up. Hit the poll up, man. Who got the knockout of the year? No, but like I was saying earlier, Alexis De La Cerda, the thing I loved about the kid was if you watch the fight, the pedigree was there, the shot selection, the head movement. You know what I'm saying? He comes from that camp with Rayo Venezuela. He's Mexican. So to me, it's significant because a lot of Mexicans choose to fight more like how Erwin Fuller was fighting, right? Like really.
No, he fought like Juan Manuel Marquez. He fought like Juan Manuel Marquez. Yeah.
Very patient. Being the counterpuncher. You could tell that he has a lot of wrinkles to his game. You can tell that he has a lot of tools in the bag, and I feel like he can be on the front foot, but clearly he showed you what he could be on the back foot, which is if you're going to press me, you're going to come head hunting. I'm going to be patient. He could have given up real estate and made it all about taking the whole entire ring and getting out of range and just staying out the power and the punishment that Erwin Fuller was coming at him with. And Erwin Fuller has a reputation, right, of putting dudes away. He had a reputation for that. So De La Cerda could have definitely let that mental part of the game win, right? Like, damn, bro, I'm at a last minute replacement. He didn't have a full camp to prepare for this dude, but he allowed his experience and what he's done, who he sparred with, to show up, and he outclassed this dude. Outside of knocking him out, he outclassed Erwin Fuller. He showed the poise, and he's gonna make Erwin Fuller go back to the drawing board and get better and change and learn, because it wasn't a lucky punch. If it was a lucky punch, Erwin could be like, oh man, that anybody can get caught, right? But Erwin Fuller has to go back and realize that, it wasn't just about me getting knocked out. That dude literally was whooping my ass from round 1 until he knocked me out. He was, and not whooping my ass like pressing me and beating me up. No, like I'm trying to get him. He's slipping me. He's moving me around. He's walking me into shots. He's attacking my body. He's setting me up, and he walked me into that knockout shot. So, I mean, I think MVP of the night is De La Cerda, in my opinion, just off the strength of not the knockout, but really if people pay attention to what he did in there. I'm super intrigued about what he's going to do in his next fight. Super intrigued.
Yeah. I'm intrigued on both of them, actually. I want to see how Erwin Fuller comes back. Can he be like an Amir Khan? And I want to see what Alexis De La Cerda does next with his 9-0, 5 knockout career now. So, and then the opening card, which I told you would become exciting. Azat
opening main event on the main card. You're talking about, right?
Yeah, on the main card. Yeah. The first, the opening main card is Azat Crazy A Hovhannissian versus Eduardo Baez. And I told you, man, even with his arm hurt, remember, he hurt it like in the 3rd round, his left arm. He was basically fighting one-handed, but he brought it, man. So congratulations to Coach Freddie Roach and Wildcard Jim and Crazy A Hovhannissian. He wins that match against Eduardo Baez.
Yeah, I wasn't. That fight was a cool fight, but it was one of the weaker fights on the card for me. It didn't deliver for me the way, I thought it might have. And shout out to Hovhannissian. Is his last name?
Yeah, Azat Crazy A Hovhannissian.
Yeah, shout out to Azat as far as him having that hurt arm and still performing the way he did and putting his best foot forward. He's older. What is he, like 35 years old?
37
years old. So, I know he's going to be at a minimum a good dance partner. He seemed very motivated, wanted to do something at 126, said, he promised he could do way better, acknowledging that, my arm was hurt. I really couldn't do all I could do. Some people thought that Eduardo Baez won the fight. It was close enough to where I'm not mad at you either way. I had Hazard winning the fight, but even Eduardo Baez, he needs to step it up too as far as his pedigree. But both of them great dance partners, like they'll be part of a great fight because of how they press the action and how they, they'll give an opportunity for a A-level fighter to have a great night.
Let me ask you a question, right? Because you're seeing it in live time, and this is what I was saying about Zuffa. So you saw Troy Nash start the entire event on the prelims. He's at 126 pounds. Okay. He's now, I think Troy Nash is now 7-0 or 8-0, right? You saw his performance against Brian Rodriguez. In your opinion, is Troy Nash ready for Eduardo Baez or not? Because Baez is the one that lost.
Yes.
Really? You think he's ready for Baez?
I I think yes, but no, at the same time, no, right? Because the experience, right? And Eduardo Baez is the kind of dude who's going to force you to think, and you can make mistakes, and he can make you pay for mistakes in a bad way, like in a finale where he can knock you out. I think Troy Nash is a better boxer than Eduardo Baez. So maybe I you know, a little too quick to say yes. I was thinking more so I just think Troy Nash is a better boxer than Eduardo Baez. But needless to say, at the end of the day, like Eduardo Baez was to be fighting somebody with a hurt arm, he really just never made an adjustment that I feel at any given moment that could take advantage of that guy, right? Just continued fighting the same way. And I know he knows the guy's arm was hurt because he kept looking at it, he kept shaking it out. Like he was making it obvious. Everybody could see something was wrong with his arm. We'll see what both these guys do in their next fight, but you know, me personally, just not impressed. I just saw a lot of it was just a fight, and that's cool too. A fight is a fight.
Well, that's fair. I'll tell you the one that I would want to see now then is I'd want to see Alexis de la Cerda versus Troy Nash. Winner versus winner, bro. I want to see that. De la Cerda, Troy Nash. Who do you pick?
That's a great fight.
See?
That's a great fight where I'm nervous for Troy Nash, to be honest with you. I am nervous for Troy Nash. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. That's a fight where I'm like, but I think it's a fair fight. I think they're both prospects. De la Cerda is 8-0. Troy Nash is 6-0. Listen, man, or he's 7-0 now. De la Cerda is 9-0.
Yeah.
It's a fair fight, man. It's a fight that could be made. It's a great fight. I'll tell you what, Troy Nash, I've been wanting to see him show me more. He's been coasting a little bit, not showing me more. Like he's showing me a little bit every time, but what I wanted to see, I didn't necessarily get to see. He's a safe fighter. De la Cerda will not allow him to be safe. He will have to. He'd have to fight. I think De La Cerda could cut that ring off, could get past that lead hand, and not give up real estate. And I think he can make Troy Nash pay. Ouch. Great fight. That's what I can tell you. Great fight.
All right. And that's what I was telling you. What's fun about, if you guys look at the Zuffa Boxing 1 through Zuffa Boxing 5 list, you can make your own matches at this point, but it's just like the UFC. So I'll give you one. I think Brian Rodriguez versus Irvin Fuller would be a good fight.
I was already thinking about that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what Irvin Fuller really can do. And what we know about Brian Rodriguez is he's coming forward. He's not backing up. So we got two guys who want to come forward. That should be pretty fun. And then the other person who got the $50,000 bonus is Mark Magsayo, who won by stoppage in the 5th round over Fergal McRory. Magsayo does a backflip and gets an extra $50,000. He did it in front of all his Filipino people. Shout out to all my Filipino people. Mark Magsayo looking like he can make a career out of the Zuffa Boxing roster. What'd you think of Mark Magsayo versus Fergal McRory, Clay?
Great fight. Mark Magsayo, explosive, exciting fighter, man, as he's always been, man. I remember him fighting against Gary Russell Jr., the fight that I think he lost, but still, you know what I'm saying, he got the victory over there, and he's shown that he can compete at the highest level, because to even be in a conversation of winning, to have a Gary Allen Russell Jr. on your record it just speaks volumes about what you can do. Debuting at 135, he seems very comfortable up there, very athletic. Very willing to make the fight exciting, like Philippine fighters have shown over and over again historically that they're willing to participate in some of the most exciting fights. I felt like his opponent, McCrory, Fergal, what is it? Fergal? I can't remember.
Fergal. Yeah.
Fergal. That is a native name. If that ever has been a native name, that name is just going to be there. Where is he from? Scotland, Ireland?
Ireland.
That's the name.
He's one of Caleb Walsh's guys. He's with King Caleb Walsh. So
okay, cool. Big head on that guy. But I felt like the fight was stopped a little bit prematurely, in my opinion. I know the corner. I know your position on the corner stopping fights, and if they see something, clearly they did. I didn't. And I don't think Fergal saw it either. But it just seemed like the stoppage was somewhat unnecessary. But at the same time, I do think he was on his way to get knocked out. I think that
he was gonna get knocked out. It was gonna be a highlight, bro. He was gonna get knocked out.
I think he was gonna get knocked out. I think that Mark Messiah was gonna get him. I don't know if it was gonna be in that round even. Maybe he could have lasted another round or so or two. But yeah, man, listen, Mark Messiah is at the top of the conversation at 135 over there. He's part of the biggest conversations, whatever those conversations are, whether it's Rayo Venezuela, whether it's Andres Cortez, whether it's Edwin De Los Santos, whether it's any of the top 135-pounder guys over there, whatever that looks like, Mark Messiah is in that conversation for sure. He can get any
I can tell you right now that Mark Messiah will most likely be fighting on July 12th on International Fight Week. If for no other reason, Clay, then he's Filipino, bro. And International Fight Week is all about bringing in all the cultures together. But Rayo Valenzuela versus Mark Messiah for the Zuffa Boxing 135 title. Do you like that one?
I saw Boxing Scene make a conversation today, a post saying that they have inside sources that said that title's not going to be fought for yet. That maybe towards the end of the year. So.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
That being said, I think the fight that's going to be happening is going to be Andres Cortez versus Mark Messiah. I think that's a fight, and I think that fight is just juicy. I think that is just to stick your teeth into. You know what I mean? That is a prime rib. You know what I mean? That's a prime rib from a 4.5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a great fight. What do you think about that fight?
Shit. That's going to be a pretty fun fight to watch because I think that a lot of people don't understand what Andres Cortez was doing to some people who might not have liked his strategy. But I thought it was a pretty sound strategy. He kind of saw what Erickson Garcia did to Tai Imanaga, and he was kind of like doing that. What is it, Clay? Like a leap in, score.
Yeah. The thing about it that he was doing that was interesting because of him being the fighter with the shorter arms and him seeming to be the fighter that would want to close his space and keep it close range for as long as he could because that's where he was going to shine at. He chose to actually play the long range and he would jump in, get some work, and then jump back out and then use his legs and move around the ring. So he treated Erickson Garcia as the bigger fighter, as the puncher almost, right? He treated him as the fighter that he didn't want to entangle with. He didn't want to get caught up in the slick energy of Erickson. He knows Erickson could be very sneaky and slick and slipping shots, and the shot that you don't see can knock you out. And the way Erickson fights, he's going to hit you with a shot you don't see just because of how misleading he is with the way he is, even with the way he fights inside the clinch. A free arm from Erickson Garcia can be bad because he knows how to kind of use that amateur background that he comes from over there in Dominican Republic. He knows how to kind of use that space, like an Andy Cruz or like Edwin De Los Santos. They know that a David Morrell. They know how sneaky that power can be, and sneaky power caught. What's his name again? The Japanese guy again?
Taiga Imanaga.
Taiga Imanaga got caught with the sneak shot, with the slickness. He got caught up in it because he was. One thing's for sure, he showed that you can hit Erickson Garcia because he was punching on Erickson Garcia for the first half of that fight. A lot of punch combinations. He had no problem connecting with him, but I think what Andre Cortez's team probably notices that he got lulled into a false sense of security in the midst of doing all that. And then boom, all of a sudden when Erickson Garcia decided to turn it up, bop, a shot you ain't see happening before you know it, he was on his pockets. So Andre Cortez wasn't going to allow Erickson Garcia an opportunity to get that cadence and get that comfortable in there. He wanted to make it uncomfortable for him. So I'm going to jump in. Not only am I going to hit you with shots, but I'm going to tie you up. So I'm going to get mine off, and I'm either going to get out or the referee's going to separate us, and I'm going to frustrate you. And that's what happened, I think, to Erickson, because Erickson Garcia never let his hands go. And it seemed like he didn't get a chance to let his hands go because he was stuck because where he was trying to time Andre Cortez out, Cortez would come in and tie him up and get his shot off. A very short check left hook, super short. He would catch it and chopping down with it. Very short shots on the inside, and then either tying him up or getting out of range again. And Erickson Garcia is going to look back at that fight and be like, damn, bro, I didn't let my hands go in that whole 10-round fight. I hardly ever let my hands go. And I don't think a fighter wants to walk away from a fight feeling like that, right? Like, I lost a fight. It's one thing to lose a fight when you did your thing and you just got outclassed, but it's another thing to walk away with regret, right, Angelo? Like, fuck, man, I wish I would have. I could have. It was right there for me, and I just didn't do it. I don't know. What you think about it?
Yeah, no. I'm with you on all of it. And I like your idea that Andres Cortez versus Magsayo would be a fun fight to make. At the same time, like you said, when is Edwin De Los Santos going to make his appearance, right? So maybe Edwin De Los Santos versus Andres Cortez.
I think possibly. It's going to be De Los Santos versus Rayo. I think that's the big fight they're trying to build up. I think that's the headline. I think that's what's going on. I think they're building up the De Los Santos Rayo. I think that's the fight.
Ooh, that could be that. Yeah,
and I think winner of both those fights, title shot. Winner of Magsayo Andre Cortez versus winner of Rayo versus De Los Santos for the championship belt.
Well, to end the Zuffa conversation, it was pretty cool that they made the announcement much faster this time rather than making us wait on what's going to happen. So, what did you think of the new announcement of Zuffa Boxing 6 happening May 10th, Mother's Day? We'll probably call the fight, or I'll probably be there. We'll see. But Zuffa Boxing 6 headlined by Shane Mosley Jr. making his 160-pound Zuffa debut against Sergey Bohachak. 10 rounds.
I love it. 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 I think people are going to be sleeping on how interesting this fight is. I think Shane Mosley brings a certain element of just being fundamentally sound and toughness that people sleep on. And I think he even has a little power about him that people sleep on as well. I think Sergey Bohachak, we know how game he is. Just remember, go watch Jesus Ramos versus Shane Mosley Jr. You'll see what Shane looks like when he's game, because Jesus Ramos is game. Shane Mosley is game, bro. And Sergey Bohachak with game opponents. Look at Sergey Bohachak and Virgil Ortiz. Look at Sergey Bohachak in his last fight he just had at Zuffa Boxing. This fight has fireworks written all over it, bro.
So I haven't got
fireworks. Fireworks.
All right.
100%. I don't know what the undercard is all the way, and I don't know all the
fighters. No. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what the co-main event of that fight is. We watched him stop. He won by stoppage against Austin Deanda, and that's Misael Rodriguez, the Olympian from Mexico. 16 wins, undefeated, fighting the Greek freak, Andres Katsaroukis from Greece, 16-0, undefeated. You got a 16-0 versus a 16-0 at 160 pounds. Someone's O's got to go. Who you picking, Claymore?
I'm not too familiar with him, so I can't pick anyone. I mean, I know Messiah.
You're not familiar with Katsaroukis, bro? Andreas Katsaroukis? He fought at OTX. The Greek freak, baby.
The one who lost?
No, he's undefeated. He won, dude. He beat Robert Cruz. He beat Brandon Adams, bro. Katsaroukis beat Brandon Adams.
No, I remember him. Wait, did he fight on another card? On another card? He fought on another card, right?
This is his Zuffa debut. He's fighting Misael Rodriguez, who stopped Deanda. Remember, Deanda's kind of the tall dude.
Yeah, I know Messiah. I mean, that Eastern European style versus Greek? But you know something about Messiah, Messiah
Rodriguez. Katsaroukis, man. You keep saying Messiah. Katsaroukis is his name.
I'm talking about the guy he's fighting against.
He's fighting Misael Rodriguez.
Come on, bro. Stop playing me, bro. You know what I was trying to say. So Misael, whatever, I'm saying his name wrong, but I know I'm trying to talk about that guy real quick. That dude, for a Mexican, you know what I'm saying, fights long. I remember that about him. You know what I mean? Fights long. He's patient. Oh man, I gotta go with probably. I'm probably gonna go with Andreas on this one.
Okay, he beat Brandon Adams, bro. So you know
that Eastern European. I don't know. I gotta do some film study. I don't want to call it right now. I'm not gonna call it right now.
All right, Claymore's got to do some film study, y'all. And then the opening bout. That is. By the way, I'll address this right now. Last Train to Trance. Yeah, no, that's happening this week,
right?
Yeah, that's happening here this week in Las Vegas. The problem is, Last Train to Trance, unlike in the UK where you guys make tickets very accessible for you guys there, in America, man, people are greedy. So if you can believe it, they're trying to sell tickets here in Vegas for Brandon Adams versus Aguiarco for like $130. Nobody's buying it, man. That arena right now is not even. They're probably gonna have to give away tickets if I'm being honest with you, because you can't do that here. If they're charging it at about $50, I'd probably be pretty packed. But right now, it's not very packed at all. So, but it is a good fight. It is a good fight. So yeah, the opening bout of May 10th, Claymore. Your guy Julian Rodriguez versus the undefeated 21-0, very tall James the Slim Reaper Perella.
Another big challenge for Julian Rodriguez, man. A huge challenge for him, man. Tough fight for him, man. Last fight we watched Julian Rodriguez fight against, what was the guy's name he fought against? What was his name again? I'm trying to remember what his name was. Who did Julian fight?
The dude that he beat was because you remember it was Freddie's guy, Kane Sandoval, Sugar Cane Sandoval.
Sandoval, right? That was a hard fight for Julian, man. I know we had Julian on here and he said, you know, it wasn't that hard. It did look like it was a hard fight, bro. That was a very long fight. A lot of punishment. Kane Sandoval was really letting it fly. He won that fight hands down. I gave him the fight, but it was a fight that could have easily been taken away from him. I think if judges looked at it a different way, it's one of those fights that if the judges would have decided to look at it a different way, it could have went against him. Here he is back in the ring with another puncher, more experience, 21 wins, 15 knockouts, man. His last 2 fights he's had ended in knockouts. This guy is more of a natural 147-pounder, in my opinion. In his last fight, he fought a catch weight of 152. But this will be his
saying he's bigger because he's 6 foot tall versus Julian really can make 140 is what you're trying to say.
Right. He's a bigger dude. He's a big puncher. He's coming from a higher division. He's been at 147 for most of his career, and he's fought catch weight fights. But this will be his first 10-rounder, right? Well, no, this will be like his second or third 10-rounder. But mostly he's been fighting.
This will be his Zuffa boxing debut. And again, Julian can't fall into the trap of this could be what we call a trap fight, right? Just like the Tony Hirsch. The Tony Hirsch fight, he was coming in at 7-0. Not too many people knew about him. And, you know, trap fight, right? So Julian's got to stay on business and keep the trajectory going. But Julian Rodriguez did knock out Avius Griffin, bro. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't think height is a problem for Julian.
It's not necessarily the height. It's about being able to use it properly and using it properly. So, you know, that's what it's all about, right? Like Avius fought a fight that he probably didn't need to fight the way he fought. You know what I mean? Especially considering the fact when you think about it, he was winning, you know, he was winning at the point that he decided to continue to scrap and he kept chasing that knockout. Will James Perello be able to bring that if he brings that pedigree and that IQ where he's forcing Julian to get inside of him and walking him into shots, you know what I'm saying? Instead of pressuring Julian, because Julian operates well under pressure. If you're going to pressure him and walk him down, well, he has a slickness about him to where he's going to slip a lot of those shots and he's going to make you pay in a big way. You know, if there's a strategy to beating Julian Rodriguez, it's probably going to be behind that jab, using that range, walking him into shots, using your feet and forcing Julian to find you. Then this could be a long night for Julian Rodriguez. I think it's a great fight, a big test for Julian. Julian's in the conversation of being one of the first, being the first Zuffa welterweight champion. He's in the conversation of being in all those conversations. But I think he has a real test in front of him. Who's going to win? I'm going to lean with Julian. I think Julian just brings that pedigree. I'm going with Julian to win the fight. But I think it's going to be a real test.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And then I can't really reveal the rest of the card, but I already know what it is. So can't reveal it yet, though. So I'll we respect the people that continue to trust us with the information. So you guys will find out soon enough who's on the prelims. What I will tell you, though, is I can tell you weight classes, and you're going to see some more big boys in there. Some heavyweights, some 175ers, some 160 guys. So good card. Probably a lot of knockouts.
No doubt. It is what it is, guys. We're over 3.5 hours going in. We usually close at 2, but I wanted to talk about all these different things, man. And we did. Good times, man. Next show, we'll be talking about obviously the Tyson Fury card as well, which I think has some great fights on it too as well.
Well, I was going to actually ask you, depending on how your schedule works, possible watch party Thursday night for the Osleys Iglesias.
Definitely.
Pavel Silyagin IBF championship fight?
Definitely a
on
possibility.
The zone? Okay.
Definitely a possibility for sure. Guys, I appreciate you guys being in the building, man. We had a good one, man. Hit the like button if you haven't done it, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Great conversations. Great boxing talk today, man. Thank you, guys. You guys see what the content is, man. You see how we carrying it. You see what we're talking about. It's not as controversial as people would like it to be, but it's solid. Great perspective on what's really going on in the sport. We try to cover as much of the sport as possible. We don't want to make everything about drama and trauma and bad news and everything that invites people into arguing. You know what I mean? But we talked about it all today. We talked about the business of boxing with Devin Haney and Turki and PBC and back end money. We talked about great fights that happened this week. We talked about Deontay Wilder, the future of the heavyweight division, his future in the heavyweight division. We talked about AJ. We talked about Tyson Fury. We talked about this great Zuffa card, man. I appreciate you guys. Hey, man, feel free to go on any of my videos and give ideas as well. I'm going to actually put out a I don't want to say a poll, but I'm going to put a post out. That's the word. Where I want you guys to start trying to engage with us a little bit as far as what you want to talk about, right? Give us heads up on what you think, you know what I mean? What, you know, topics that you guys are interested in. We're watching the whole game, man. Trust me. From a skybox view, we're watching the whole game, so feel free to put it in.
Can I give a shout out to Coach Bernard Hackett, man? I felt it was a very deep compliment, but he called me the Adam Schefter of boxing right now. He says,
Let's
man,
do it.
Angelo be predicting shit before it even happens, man. He knows some people. He's just not letting who his people are that he's getting all this info from. So, but Adam Schefter doesn't either. All I know is, you know, it's that whole Clay, breaking news, Clay. I got one. So, but thanks, guys.
Man. No doubt, man. Salute to you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Until the next one, at this point, we out.
Make it this far, they hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Merryweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like, hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this, go up. You know it's all net when it go up.